6:33. So we're going to call this to order, the April 17th meeting to order. Start going to call order. We have anyone here from a member of public to speak? Are you guys all here for projects? All right, so we have no members of the public. Awesome. We're an exciting place to be, huh? All right, Sanford Surveying and Engineering. This is, if you guys could come up and please present, that would be great. Yeah, if you could sit up right there in that corner there, it's perfect because it's the cameras can get it and everybody can see. Yeah. Don sent me a great cheat sheet. McMillan. Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Oh, there we go. Ready?
Thank you. You're good.
My name is Bob Kilmer from Sanford Surveying and Engineering, and I'm here representing Chris Condon and Barbara Watson. They're working to do is they want to do a 3-lot subdivision of map 4B-136, which has an existing house on it. It is right now it's 9.7 acres, and what they're proposing is 3 lots. 4B-136 will maintain the existing house as it is now, at 2.3 acres with 100,287 square feet of upland, contiguous upland. 4B-136-2, which is the lot to the right, is will be 2.7 acres, consists of 119,362 square feet, and have 108,351 square feet of contiguous upland. The last lot, 4B-136-1, will be 4.66 acres and have 152,455 square feet of contiguous upland. And with that said, they are also going to do a lot line adjustment with his mother's parcel at 4B-137, where she's going to take 1.1 acres of her property and add it to 136-1 to get a final area of 5.8 acres. And see the driveways, proposed driveways at each one. They're 136-2 is towards the right side of the lot. 136-1 is over on the left side of the frontage for that lot. And again, the existing house will remain the driveway where it is. The wetlands were flagged. The lot contains Hinkley, loamy sand soils, anywhere from 0 to 8% slopes. And you can see marked down below the wetlands, pond and brook. The wetland area is a Rippewam fine sandy loam. Group 5 soil, poorly drained, and the Hinkley soil is a Group 1 soil. It's a severe permeability, which means that, again, the water passes through it, and that's why the zoning-based soil map for the town, requires these lots to have a minimum of 100,000 square feet.
This is only now just the lot line adjustment. There's no planning going on for a house yet or anything like that, or is that
No.
nothing?
There's Chris is planning on building on 136-1.
Mhm.
The lot line adjustment with his mother is to have a larger area.
So then, and then 136.2 is just gonna go up for sale or some point in time or whatever. Who knows?
He's actually talking about building a house for sale on it.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to.
You're not dealing with slopes. There's plenty of upland away from
Yeah.
wetlands. It's probably has sight lines, but that's not up to us.
That's part of the planning process, the driveway site distances and all that.
Yeah. So it's pretty straightforward.
Because it looks like the town is going to usurp somewhat of a frontage there. They're going back 25 feet from center road.
Correct, yeah. For the frontage of the original lot, 136, we are dedicating 25 feet from center line,
Okay.
for road widening easement.
And that's going to take care of the lines. Yeah, it's going to take care of the sight lines probably for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty, to me, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Anyone had anything jumped out at anybody?
No. Let the family know we wish them our best.
Yeah.
So they've been good neighbors to us and
Interesting.
good
Into
friends
the
of the
town.
commission.
Yeah.
So
Chris is sick, otherwise he'd have been here, and I think his mother was going to come too.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
Yeah, really, we appreciate them in town. They've done a lot for the town, so.
yeah.
But when do you go in front of the planning board?
it will be the first meeting in May.
Okay.
We submitted April 11th. I believe it's May 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah. I don't think we really have any comments, right?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Nope, straightforward. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you very much.
we'll pass along our no comment to the planning board before you're due to see them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Longer to set up your easels.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's where I'll have to do it.
I know, really, it would be so much quicker if we just had one in here. Talk to Chris about that. He's in there listening to us now. All right, so moving on. Rochette's Oil Service and Wiley Real Estate. Hi.
The button, I think. I'm gonna turn
It's
it
not,
off.
yeah, if it's not lit up.
Should be.
There we go, right? I talk pretty loud.
Yeah,
Why
it's,
don't we turn it off?
no, turn it on, because it's the recording. The recording.
Oh,
needs to
I
get
got you. Okay.
What's the- Yeah, so did you sign in?
I did.
Yeah. So you can just
Okay.
go ahead.
Yes, we're proposing to, we have an existing 250-gallon,
Yeah, could you just introduce yourself so the
I'm
mic?
sorry.
No, that's mic. picks
Ralph
up.
Freeman with Rochette Oil and Propane.
Thank you.
And we're proposing to replace a 250-gallon propane tank that we have in front of the building existing that supplies propane to our showroom appliances with a 1,000-gallon above-ground propane storage tank for propane dispensing to fill grill tanks. We got a variance, and we were in the process of going to planning, which they directed us to, and when I was there and turning in all of my necessary paperwork and such in the plans, about an hour after I got back to the office, I think it was Robert called me and said, "Oh, you got to go to conservation. So here I am. So I think we provided you with all the necessary information in the copy of the plan and such. I mean, I don't think the propane affects the groundwater or the, I mean, obviously if there's a leak or something happens, it's airborne, so.
So you have a tank on site now,
We do.
and is it above ground?
It's above ground.
Yeah.
In the very spot where this one's going to go.
I've driven by that a couple thousand times. I'm like, it's right in front of the building, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got our name on it.
Yeah. I've seen the sign. I'm going to see it every day.
Yeah.
So your intent is to sell propane?
Yes, sir.
Fill
Fill grill tanks. And,
Yeah, grill. I see. All right.
Yeah, we have a large walk-in customer base that have been asking us since we've gone into the propane business why we don't fill grill tanks, and so finally we decided to accommodate them and do so. So I think it'd be a good service to our customers.
So you plan on using existing parking to support that?
Yes, sir.
And you're just pouring a bigger pad, or is there going to?
Yes, it comes as one whole unit. I think I have a plan of it in the car, but the unit comes as one with a cabinet and a locking cabinet, and the dispenser's in the cabinet and sits on either lentils or on a pad. And we, of course, we'll have crash barriers, all around it with a fence. Yeah.
Essentially, it's kind of the same. I mean, I've seen them at CVS or Home
Yeah.
Depot, whatever. It's the same, just bigger.
Same thing, yeah,
Okay.
exact same thing.
Excellent, okay.
Well, you don't mean like a tank dispenser, right? They're gonna fill tanks.
Right.
No,
well,
but they fill tanks at CVS, too. Like, if you go to CVS with your tank, you can fill it there, can't you? Thought you could.
I'm not aware of that.
I've not seen that.
I'll tell you one locally that does is Reed's Ferry.
It's for lumber.
We've gone by and saw their 1,000
Reed's Ferry
gallon.
at Tractor Supply they have tanks. You go and you drop your tank off and they fill that tank. It's not like
Yeah,
you say Home Depot. I'm thinking of you
Exchange.
walk
tank
and they
exchange.
exchange the tanks. That's
Yeah.
not. That's a different. Like
That's different?
That's different.
Oh, okay.
The tank exchange is different.
Okay.
Is it going to be one of the stand-up?
no, we're going to go horizontal with it.
Okay.
Well, we have mixed opinions about that. Some want to go vertical with it, and I'd rather see it horizontal, but I think it would be less of an eyesore.
Yeah. Bigger logo.
That's why they want to
Yeah,
go
that's what I'm saying. That's what
vertical.
yeah. It
Yeah.
sticks right out.
You can see it from Manchester.
So there'll be a slight change in impervious material on site then, because your concrete pad will end up.
Yeah, we'll either do a concrete pad or we'll do the concrete lentils, one or the other. It can sit on either one.
Lent.
Just they're 6x6 concrete bars that go in, and it sits on those.
Let's see. And what about the actual filling station, if you want to call it that? Will that be a concrete pad too, or some sort?
It's attached to the tank. It's
Yeah.
a cabinet that's attached to the end of the tank, and
Have you seen the one at Tractor?
Yes, I have.
That's all one unit.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've also seen them done on the ground, and
Yeah.
then they hook a hose up and spin it on there and all that too. So
Yeah.
This one probably has the scale built
Has
in.
the
Scale all
yeah.
built into it and everything. So.
Yep.
Yep.
Everything's right in the cabinet, so it locks up. And
So there is a bit of a slope to the front of the property. From the front to the road surface, there's a bit of a slope there. So water that hits that storm water and stuff like that, rainwater, where's all that going to go?
I'm not sure where it's going now. I guess.
Yeah.
Again, to my eye, it looks flat there, but if you know that it's sloped.
Well, yeah, it's slight, so, but I'm just wondering if you add to the impervious area and you have a large unit that's going to be, water's going to be hitting it, banging on it, running off of it, where's that water going to go? Because right now, if there was nothing there, it would theoretically go right into the ground unless there was such a heavy storm that the ground couldn't handle that. So now I'm just wondering where the water's going to go when it hits this larger area, that's all. Is it going to run into the parking lot, or is it going to...
I suppose we could grade it so it does.
Yeah, so,
When we do the pad or the lentils, whichever one we decide to go with, but we could make sure that it does drain toward the parking lot.
yeah, well, so our preference is that you get the water into the ground as quickly as possible. So if it hits the parking lot, it's going to sheet across the parking lot and go to wherever it goes now when it's on the parking lot.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if it's collected in a storm drain, because I can't see any of your drainage on the detail that was provided us. So,
Mhm.
so if you had adequate stormwater retention inside your existing parking lot, then there'd be no question.
Mhm.
But if you don't have any of that, because this is an older site and it just sheets across and goes wherever it goes, to the edge of the property or something, then it would be nice or ideal to have something around this unit that could capture that rainwater and direct it into the ground.
Mhm.
Whether that's, you know, a graveled type, you know, trench, if you want to call it, that
Mhm.
captures the water after it sheds
Okay.
off the tank and all that stuff and just hits, you know, goes into the ground.
Okay.
Because you're in an aquifer area, that's why you're in front of us.
Yep, okay.
So, and there are wetlands across the street from you and stuff like that. So, so we know there's plenty of water in the area and all that. And so, and we're all our water in Merrimack, except if you live in the south end of town, all comes from wells of some sort. The more water we can direct back into the ground, the better off we are.
Gotcha.
If you look at the past year and a half, we've been in a semi-drought situation,
Mhm.
and our water coming out of the ground just gets harder when you're in a drought situation. So,
Sure.
so I would encourage you to be thinking about how you would put some sort of stormwater retention around the area to capture that rainwater. So, and where you're not really going to have fluids and stuff like that to deal with, you don't have to worry about so much of capturing those fluids and getting that out of the groundwater.
Right,
So,
right. Okay,
follow
so
what I'm saying?
that sounds simple enough. I mean, you're saying like a gravel,
yeah, you're not talking a lot of water.
Trying to
here,
increase
so-
the percolation
yeah.
right
Right.
around the tank.
Right,
You know,
right.
anywhere that's no longer going to be able to percolate, because it's going
Right.
to be covered by a tank, covered by a pad, covered by
Right,
whatever.
and if
Sure.
your pad has some sort of, you can put a little slight tilt to it or direct the water off of it, direct it to somewhere where it'll go into the ground as opposed to launching across your driveway.
Right, okay.
Know what I
okay.
mean?
Yep. And, you know, I'd certainly work with our engineer, Tim Keene at Fuss and O'Neill, and have him advise us on that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult for this
Yeah.
area, so.
Okay. Sure.
But and further going and finishing your project, are you looking at any kind of, any landscaping or anything like that, or is it just as it
Well-
stands now?
We'll make it look good, you know, I mean, we'll put something around it, you know, probably some, you know, couple shrubs on the corners or something, and, you know.
It's one of our
nothing
kind
major.
of standard, you know, obviously because of where you are physically in the wetlands area, or in the aquifer area.
Mhm.
We've got a couple things we're concerned about is fertilizer content, no phosphate, very low phosphate or no phosphate fertilizers,
Okay,
and also just make sure you're staying with natural indigenous bush or indigenous shrubbery.
okay,
So nothing invasive.
okay, yeah.
It looks pretty, but
No bamboo.
yeah,
right.
please.
No burning bush.
Yeah,
We had
no
that
burning
in
bush.
the house we had in Rhode Island. Oh, my goodness, you couldn't get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You could mow the grass, and by the next week, it was coming up it was
Yeah.
higher than the grass again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, we won't do anything like that.
Okay. And you have the same planning board agenda? Your
Yes,
idea
May
for-
2nd.
May 2nd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will, any comments we've had here tonight, we'll include that in a letter to the planning board, and we can go from there.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for not blasting that.
No, it's all right.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of school buses that pull out of that area.
Yeah. Did you go down to Star Drive?
No,
There's a-
but I've seen them, you know, sometimes
There's a lot,
when you're
there's a
going
lot
by
there's a lot of
and
buses
it's-
down there.
Those were quick, so let's keep it going, right? Well, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Tom Zajac. I'm a civil engineer with Hayner Swanson in Nashua. I'm here tonight representing Student Transportation, Inc. We're here seeking your recommendation for site plan approval also at the May 2nd meeting. As you can see on the plan up on the board, subject site is located at 534 Daniel Webster Highway and 6 William Street. It's actually two parcels. Map 6D-1, lots 1 and 2, lot 1 being 534 Daniel Webster Highway, lot 2 being 6 William Street. We're a little over 4 acres. We're located in the C2 Commercial Zoning District. We're also in the Aquifer Conservation and Wellhead Protection Overlay Districts, which is why I'm before you here tonight. The easterly portion of the site is currently developed. There's a partial 2-story multi-tenant commercial building I'm sure many of you are familiar with. I think there's a karate studio in there now. A septic company has their offices, and there's a hair salon as well. There's also about a 9,000 square foot garage in the back portion of the building. You can see it as you're driving down William Street, along with associated pavement and parking areas, again, in the easterly portion of the site. Westerly portion of the site is currently wooded and undeveloped for the most part. Abutting the site, William Street and a single-family residence to the north. You got F.E. Everett Turnpike to the west. To the south is the Vault Motor Storage facility. And to the east is Daniel Webster Highway, and across Daniel Webster Highway there's a multifamily apartment complex. Just a little bit of history about student transportation. If you're not familiar, they currently service the Merrimack School District and their 6 schools. They currently operate out of their 14 Star Drive facility, which is about a 2-acre site located in the southern part of town. The existing site is not ideal for STI. It's not big enough. It's not as centrally located as they want to be, and because of those reasons, they're not really able to put their best foot forward in terms of the Merrimack School District. They've been looking for a couple of years now for a better site, and they think they found one here at this site. What we're proposing is to redevelop the existing site into a school bus operation facility. The 2 existing lots will be merged into one. The garage portion of the building, the rear portion, will be demolished, and they'll be looking to construct a new 3,000 square foot 2-bay maintenance addition on the back of the existing building. STI will occupy about half the office space. They plan on keeping the existing commercial tenants in the front of the building, and they will, as I said, occupy the rest of the building. There's new parking areas, 78 spaces total. There's also some future spaces dashed in on our master plan. We don't quite meet parking code, but we think there's a little bit of overlap in the uses, so we're going to ask the planning board to allow us to move forward with slightly less than the required spaces. Customers and employees will continue to park in the front. We've added some parking area along DW Highway. We've also added a small parking lot to the rear of the building that customers will use. The southerly parking lot will be mostly for the school bus drivers themselves. As they come to work every day, they'll leave their car there, they'll take the bus out and then come back at the end of the day. And in the rear of the site, we're providing parking for approximately 55 school buses. In terms of access, we're maintaining our existing driveway on DW Highway, and we're looking to better define access points along William Street. If you've been out there, once you get on William Street, it's really just a sea of pavement for most of the site. So we have a single-family residence abutting us. We'd like to kind of better define access along those points, introduce some green space, while also making the site functional for both the commercial customers and employees, and then the school buses themselves. So there's 4 total driveways or curb cuts along William Street. The easterly 2 will serve for the customers and employees of the commercial uses, and then the rear 2 will serve for the buses as they make a clockwise motion in and out of the site, finally exiting on the new cul-de-sac off of William Street. Other site improvements include a fuel island and above-ground storage tank for use by the bus fleet. We've shown kind of a placeholder for that on the plans. Final design of that area is forthcoming. Of course, subject to to DES approvals. We've also got new landscaping and site lighting. Site will be serviced by public sewer as it is now, Merrimack Village District, water, underground gas, and overhead telephone electric utilities. We feel we're making significant stormwater management improvements on a site where no formal practice currently exists. So just want to touch upon a couple key issues that I think are most pressing for you folks. There is a small wetland located at the rear of the site along the Everett Turnpike. We're not proposing any impacts to this wetland or its buffers. As I mentioned, the site's located in the Aquifer Conservation and Wellhead Protection District associated with MVD wells 4 and 5. We've preemptively added some salt and fertilizer restrictive notes based on previous experiments with this board. Those can be found notes 11 and 12 on the master plan, essentially speaking to snow storage, that they store snow in open areas of the site. No snow shall come from outside these districts. Winter maintenance by Green Snow Pro certified contractor. Also speaks to the no phosphate slow release fertilizers, and STI was accepting of both of these notes.
You've done your homework.
Maintenance addition. So all maintenance will be located within the building. There'll be internal floor drains, which will be piped to an external oil water separator and then back into the public sewer system. As I mentioned, the fuel island is to be designed by a fuel island engineer, not myself. Runoff will be self-contained. So a lot of times with those above ground storage tanks, the concrete itself will have the grooves in them. And theoretically, if there's a spill, it's supposed to contain a certain number of volume so that the spill is contained within the concrete grooves. We've tried to design the parking lot and pavement areas so that there's no run-on into those areas. Again, it's all subject to DES permitting. Lastly, stormwater. Stormwater generally drains in a westerly direction towards the highway, where it's then piped underneath the highway into Babusick Brook and eventually the Merrimack River. As I mentioned, there's no formal stormwater management practices on site. The goal of our design was to take advantage of the sandy soils on site and implement LID practices throughout to capture, store, treat, and infiltrate stormwater runoff. We've got 6 rain gardens we're proposing throughout the site, a couple different infiltration trenches, and then finally an infiltration basin down by the highway. The project will meet Merrimack and DES AOT stormwater regulations related to qualitative treatment and qualitative attenuation. Any questions?
So how many parking spaces are you short, roughly?
I'm short 11 spaces.
Is that for the buses, or is that for just cars in general?
So we've got about the building itself that will be kept as a partial 2-story with a basement. So it's got a little more than 8,000 square feet. So when we park 1 per 300 per code for that, we got about 30 spaces. The maintenance garage itself is 1 per 800, so another 4 spaces there. And then the town would like us to park 1 space per bus space provided, which is another 55. So 89 total spaces were required to provide. We are providing 78. I've shown dashed lines where I think I can get another 11 spaces, but we think there's a little bit of overlap there between the peak uses for the bus drivers and, let's say, a karate studio where we don't think all that pavement is needed. Hopefully they will agree with that.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, because my son went to that karate studio years ago, and that's mostly at night and during the Saturday.
Right,
So
right.
it's
So
after school hours.
I think our site can support another 11 spaces to meet code if needed. The commercial uses could change at any time, but based on what we're seeing here, we don't feel that those are all needed.
my one concern, your future spaces there out going towards William Street, that's also one of your snow dumps. So if they require you to put that in, where else are you gonna put the snow?
There's a rain garden there too,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's gonna require some re-engineering of the site in that
You got,
area.
what, five rain gardens in here?
There's six.
Six?
Yeah.
Because even your snow dump on the southerly side is also between the two of them, between the two rain gardens.
Yeah, that one should be okay.
Yeah.
There's just kind of a slight swale between the two rain gardens so that if one overflowed, it would kick into the other one. But that should be plenty of room there for snow.
Now, is this 55 buses? Do we use that many buses here in town?
I think 38 is the average amount
Okay.
that is used.
So is this the support just Merrimack, or is this supporting
Yes, just
Other towns?
just Merrimack.
just Merrimack?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have the full download on how
Just
many
curious,
are
yeah.
broken or how
Yeah.
many are, how many they need for certain,
Okay.
certain
I was just curious.
extracurricular activities. But, yeah, we represented, there's a full traffic study with it, and 38 was kind of the number that they go with on every day. I think that's connected to the routes themselves.
Yeah, because I was wondering if this also includes all of the smaller transportation buses that they use? You know, they have like the little mini buses?
I think it's
don't
all
know
the
that.
STS,
That's a
because
good-
that's what's down Star Drive now. Yeah. If they,
That
any of
would
the
go
smaller ones.
above and beyond the 38, because I know they have I don't know how many they have, but, you see them driving around. We have one that
I don't
comes
know.
down my street every day.
I just know I've seen them down Star Drive, so. Did everyone not get a copy of that?
Did everyone get a copy of that?
Yeah.
No, these are ones from downstairs.
Oh, that was in my packet.
Yes. Oh, it was in your packet?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked for one. There's one over there. I assume that's the one I asked for. So this has got the stormwater report in it. Usually we see a portion, we see the summary of that. With all the changing going on, I'm sure that got missed at some point. So I was just curious when I looked at it, just to see what was existing and what's proposed.
Yeah, that's
and-
probably my fault. It came in right at the last minute
Yeah.
on that one.
Okay.
So, yeah, what's existing is there's really not much coming off the site. A lot of it kind of drains to the westerly portion of the site where it goes right into the ground. It's wooded, it's flat.
Yeah.
But the result of our post-development with all the stormwater features is zero runoff coming off. William Street, if you've ever been out there, it's flat and it's just a pond. I think the town installed a leaching catch basin at some point. So the site was contributing a fair amount of runoff towards that leaching catch basin, but we're able to direct that into our rain gardens now. So the result of the study is zero runoff coming off the site.
This area is very flat. If you
Yeah.
looked at the
Oh,
flood,
yeah.
if you looked at the floodplain,
Yeah.
it literally comes up in a U around the existing building now.
Yeah.
It's really like a, so.
So you've got a detention pond near the existing wetland, I believe.
Correct, in the back of the site,
Close,
yes.
yeah. Is that detention pond have an outlet that leads into that wetland if for some reason it gets that full?
It does. It has kind of a natural spillway
Okay.
out into that wetland.
Just, it has something to slow down any velocities of water or anything like that?
I don't have any riprap proposed on there now.
Yeah.
I can add some. The analysis is showing that no runoff is coming off in the
Yeah.
50-year storm.
Okay, that's fine, yeah. I applaud you because you've been before us before on fertilizers and all that, but I must tell you, some of your pages in the back still have some of the old language in it.
They do, okay.
Yes, so if you
Find
go,
your place.
yeah, so if you go back to sheet 12A and sheet 13, you'll see remnants of the old fertilizer language.
Okay.
Under general notes on sheet 12, and then because I believe you included a page from another group here, Blackwater Design, they have fertilizer use in here. So on sheet 12, where is it? It's It's note 4, I believe.
Okay.
So that talks about 10, 10, 10, pretty standard. You see that a lot. It's that middle 10 that we don't want. So.
Okay.
No
problem.
And when you look on page 13, they have a fertilizer recommendation, and they have the phosphates even higher. So that's note 9. They do a 12, 25, 12. So that 25 in the middle is not recommended. So
We will get rid of that.
yeah, I figured you would.
You're good.
I'm so well when I see boilerplate, which is usually what these ones in the back are. They're boilerplate. I always wonder, did they catch it everywhere? So I did see straw in the language, which was great because we prefer straw over hay. So if you're going to use anything like that, so I understand correctly. The large back garage is coming down and the addition's going on, correct?
Yes, correct.
Right, okay. And then you also noted that the floor drains in the new building will go into the town sewer system.
Correct.
Not in the stormwater system.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Out on William Street. Actually, the town left us a nice stub out there to tie into. So.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. Because the other question I have for you is the washing of buses. Is that going to be done inside the garage or outside?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Because that's a concern for us. Because in the winter, the buses are great collectors of salt and everything else because there's lots of undercarriage there to hold it and store it and then bring it in and then you wash them down and you've now increased your salt load on tremendously. So.
Okay.
Because that was one of the comments when they moved into Star Drive, was that they're going to do all the washing inside the building where the drains are.
Okay.
So we're not saying that you have to do something like that. Of course, we can only make a recommendation anyways to the planning board. We've seen other facilities where they actually set up something in their parking lot that actually collects the water from the washing. Okay. And then they dispose of the water in an appropriate manner.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it'd be great to have them collect the water.
I'll
that
look
comes
into
off.
that. I'm sure if they agree to it down on Star Drive, it's the same group,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they'll agree to it here, or we'll come up with a different solution that will
Okay.
make sure it's done in an
I think they were
appropriate
looking at-
manner.
They were looking at pigs, I think, down there for Star Drive, some type of deployable bag to run them onto and wash
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're out of room down there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's actually a truck washing facility somewhere.
It
Is
is
it
down
Star
there.
Drive or is it? Yeah.
It's down by there.
And I think they use some sort of system that collects the water.
Okay,
So,
I'll look into that.
I mean, this has nothing to do with us, but are they going to put like a traffic light or something up so that, no?
Please no.
I was gonna
Please no.
say,
Yeah,
It's gonna be
don't
crazy
even,
when they-
don't even suggest that.
Sorry.
You got the traffic experts in the back of the room.
I was just curious. I know, it has nothing to do with us. I was just curious.
Okay. Similar, there's a sheet in the back with all your local all your plantings. I'm not going to pretend to be able to come up with their real names and tell you if they're local deciduous plants or not. But obviously, that's a concern of ours, is make sure all the plants are locals.
I don't have room to plant anything.
Huh?
Put in extra parking places.
Well, no, they're actually, if you look, there's actually
some.
going to be quite a bit alongside of William Street that's going to be in the front.
Yeah.
Which is going to be plantable. And they have a pretty involved landscape plan on the back, so.
Yeah, we tried to provide a good buffer with our neighbor on William Street.
Yep.
As best we can.
Yeah, if you go look at page 13, Gina. It's got a fairly comprehensive planting plan. Well, I don't have any questions. Anyone? Cindy? No? Okay. All right, so again, you said you're also May 2nd?
May 2nd.
All right, so we will have, we'll have a letter off to the planning board before your,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
It's going much quicker than I thought it was going to.
Don't say
Don't-
anything, don't jinx.
Say,
Don't
look,
say it.
look at this, I need a magnifying glass for this.
All right.
Let's get us moving right along here.
Kicker Mike.
Don't get cocky, don't get cocky.
All right, so, moving along. Old business. NRPC mapping. Good night.
Thanks,
Good night, thank you.
bye.
You want to come in, just sign in real quick? And if you could just introduce yourselves again, so we have it on the audio.
Hey,
Sarah Saskavich, National Regional Planning Commission.
Brian Friedman, same. Traffic expert. Sorry, different division, I should have realized.
Oh. I always say, this is mapping lady, it's gonna become my excuse for a while.
Except that one day a month or every 2 months when you collect hazardous materials off by the roadside.
I wish they'd,
All right, you need to,
So, yeah, so this is not critical, but I figured if we can make it work, this might be kind of interesting. 'Cause, so,
Wow.
last time Ryan and I
Okay,
were
so-
here, we had
Okay.
brought a very skeletal version of
Wow.
some of the maps that we
that works,
had
that's
been
a,
working on.
that's a piece I want.
So Ryan's passing out a packet that has some fairly well-developed maps that we'd like to share with you. I mean, this is a very fun project, so I want to thank you for having us back. I think we're kind of in we're in the home run. The contract that we had, the agreement, we had a target end date of April, and I don't think we're really that far off. So we're here kind of to collect some final immediate
Matt.
feedback on the maps, and talk a little bit more about some of the online components that we had proposed. So let's see.
See, you're gonna spoil me with all this nice big print. Look at that.
I know.
I'm gonna get out there and I'll be like, oh, hey. Nice.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll just kind of put this aside because I think the first order of business would be to sort of step through the packet a little bit. There are 4 trail map
Put the lights back
brochures.
on, does it matter? Okay, this way?
It's fine with me.
I think it's fine.
This is gonna kill me, but.
Oh, it's terrible then.
And so over the winter, Ryan's been working closely with Gage and Matt about some of the details on these maps. But just to refresh your memory, the project was all about taking a fresh look at some of the mapping resources that you're offering to the public with respect to some of the more popular priorities and properties in town. So I think Ryan's done a really nice job sort of unifying the look and feel to these maps, making them user-friendly. And we also have some ideas as far as making them more accessible to maybe the more technologically inclined audience as well. So that's kind of what this phone demonstration is about. So the maps are in, I would say, fairly good shape. There's some remaining details that we need to sort of wrap up as far as the narratives in the descriptions. Maybe Ryan, if you want to just kind of step through.
Sure.
Horse Hill being the first map that we tackled, and being that the source materials were very well developed as well, it's probably the furthest along.
Right, so you have all 4 maps in front of you for the first time, so congratulations. I know that, so I have a few comments or questions on each map, and then some that kind of pertain to common threads through all the maps. I also know that in talking to some of you, some of the decisions as you finalize them, you'll have to make as a group, and others you might feel comfortable as a subcommittee or one-on-one just making a decision. So let us know as we go, how we can arrive at a conclusion to all these lingering questions. Horse Hill, I think, has been done and is done pending anything else that you've seen in the past. We added, the only new thing is the no campfires symbol to that middle portion of the brochure, which is now on all 4 property brochures. So all those have been standardized, and hopefully I've got all the uses correct from your existing website. The hours sections have all been updated according to what's on your website. And then the notices section, that the bottom of the middle back of the brochure, except for the kind of the Friends of Horse Hill notation there, I copied the language for the rest of that notices onto everything else. So, this says Horse Hill is kept in his natural estate, etc. That says the same thing for Wasserman and everything else. If there's other separate language that you want, in particular for any of the other properties, you can let us know that. The dog information is the same story. So that's Horse Hill.
So I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into
Yep.
Horse Hill. Because in my mind, I'm confused over the naming of the location of Plummer Trail and Fat Cat Trail.
Okay.
I thought Plummer was the lower part coming out of the water area moving up, because that's kind of the original trail that was done with the family. And I thought the upper portion was much newer than that.
It is. And the family was involved in both.
Okay. So Plummer Trail is named after a feature. Where's the feature? Like a rock or?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a rock.
It's a rock that's up on that upper part.
It's in the upper part.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I just wanted to make sure that if someone says, "Hey, where's that?"
Is that the point of interest?
Well, no. The point of interest
That's the summit.
is the summit.
Oh.
So. Yeah. So. All right.
There's another point of interest that needs to be added then.
Well, no, potentially. Yeah. It's no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just it was kind of where the name came from. That's all. So I just wanted to make sure that where the name came from is on the trail that's named for the thing. That's all. I thought it was lower, but I have not
There's no
walked
actual
it.
Fat cats on the other one.
Well, that's maybe there was, but all the prey is gone and they're all skinny cats now.
But we can change the label at any time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure. Wasserman. Again, we have since added all the trail descriptions, so thank you for that. They all fit correctly, which is great. All the trail mileage is in there. Again, the permitted uses, the prohibited uses, the hours, and the notices are kind of standard with changes made depending on the property. On the map, the things that are probably newest to you is the detail of Wasserman Park, so people can kind of get oriented to where they will probably actually be parking and accessing a lot of the time. We added that southernmost parking lot very recently, and I assumed that it should be labeled resident parking only, just like the first lot to the north. I didn't know if you wanted it to say beach parking or lower parking or anything like that, so for now it's a duplicate label. There's a couple of trails that we added that we missed the first time.
Before
Yep.
you keep going, is everyone okay with that? I mean, if you're gonna, that's kind of a question. We should. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I
keeping the
don't
same
know
label.
I don't know which of my questions you're going to
Well,
need to deliberate on. And
Well,
so
that's what I'm saying. The
I was
the
blowing
parking,
through them again.
the parking, that's fine. The way it is, I don't have a.
Yeah, and I think that they're labeled, those two are resident lots,
Yeah.
for
So-
sure. And the one with the dog park is, it's not labeled a resident lot. The other two definitely are,
Yep.
and the other two are definitely patrolled by the police as resident lots.
Okay, so good. That one, X that one off.
And we've spoken to the hourly restrictions on the hours portion, kind of as it's signed. I think we solved the Field Loop Trail, what's on the open space, the adjoining open space property versus what's on the actual Wasserman Conservation property. And like I said, we added a couple things that we failed to GPS the first time. So that's Wasserman. Number 3, Wildcat.
Looks good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Wildcat, obviously missing descriptions. Kind of get a sense of the space you need to fill there.
Thank you. I was curious. I know I was going to try and get you some drafts, but I just didn't pan out. So
It's okay.
the committee does meet later this week. So, okay.
Great. Same story again on the middle portion with the uses, the hours, and so on. We recently took that picture you see on the right, added that in. Wasn't the sunniest of days, but I think it came out okay. The map, we kind of haven't really, I mean, Tim, we met with you regarding kind of the direction to take with the map and trying to make it match what the current map looks like as much as possible. But I think this is the first you've seen of our attempt to do that.
Yeah.
The fieldwork, we were a little confused on the lettered junction markers there, the circles with the lowercase letters. Some we couldn't find on the trees. I don't know if they're all meant to be signed or if some of them aren't. But following that Google map kind of as our guide at first, I know Matt had a couple problems with it, and I was just out with him taking that picture, and I couldn't find a couple of those little connector trails. So I think we got him in the right place, but let us know.
Okay.
There's a little trail length box there on the bottom left to kind of provide information that was on that current Google map. And I know there was some, not concern, but just making sure we graphically portrayed the New Hampshire property versus town property issue to your liking. So I think this does it, but let me know.
I think that does
Yeah,
it.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think you should show the road connecting to the parking lot from Courier Road. Just a little, like you did at Wasserman.
At Wasserman, yep.
That. So it looks like it's separated, like there's no connection.
Yeah, that's
Sure. Yep. I know that I think on your static map on your website, the connectors and the junction markers are not labeled, but if you were to click on the Google, the interactive version, they are. I don't know if those are important to label for you or not. Like I said, I did see Junction C, for instance, I saw, but I did not see all of them, so I didn't know how consistent or standard those were. And if people are expecting to see point K and it's not there, if that causes more of a problem than it's worth. So you can take a look and think about that. I didn't walk the whole property, so I don't know, but
Yeah.
You do.
Is that right? Is it really that far over? That little extra, that second picnic table? Is it really on?
To scale?
No. I meant like, is it on?
Yeah, it is.
It's on the state property?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of the border,
It is. Yeah.
but it's on the wrong side.
It's someone wants to slap our hand.
Yeah.
The people that put it in agreed to move it.
Okay.
So.
You ever walked there?
So a couple of questions. So, trail descriptions. There's plenty of space. So, describe the connectors as well. I have room to try.
That's up to you.
Okay.
If you've got enough language to do it, I think that makes it consistent with the others where we tried to get every trail.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if it's just connects X to X. I mean, I know that's evident by the map, but
Do we have two connector ones?
it continues, I think, so I
okay.
labeled it twice.
I see. All right, I see. Yeah.
So we are also looking then to put the letters and create like a little table, or is that an option?
It's an option. Yep.
A lot of space.
I did it on Horse Hill because that was an existing thing that I carried over. It's kind of the same story with when you start talking about descriptions of this trail joins X to Y, where all you have to do is turn over the map and you can see that point 1 connects this trail and this trail. We fit it, so it's fine, but I wouldn't consider it necessary.
Well, I was just thinking under the scale or whatever we call this.
Oh yeah, there's room.
There is room here.
Sure.
So without interfering with the rest of the map, that's all.
Yep.
Is it opening a can of worms, and should I just keep my mouth shut? But I know people that live on the other side of Wildcat Falls. Is it worthwhile to mention there is no parking on that side that you can't access? Wildcat Falls from the other side?
I think people know that.
There is that metal rope that people could.
Swing. Swing across.
Put a dolly on it, just.
You're talking about the neighborhood across from the falls?
Yeah, because I know people have parked there and cut through people's yards and stuff,
Well,
trying to get down to the falls.
Would it be worthwhile to just take the names off the streets?
I don't know.
No, Why, that would make it, well, for that reason it would, but it would be inconsistent with the other
Yeah.
maps where we do show the roads so that people have an idea of, oh, hey, I know where Edward Lane is. Now I know what they're talking about. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Can we just mark it private property?
Well, I'm just wondering if
Just a
we can
little-
say no access
No
to,
shore access.
no public access to falls, something like that.
are you sure that's true?
I don't know.
So
Is
I
it?
remember growing up and venturing to the falls from different angles and directions, and I'm not. We may have trespassed. That was 40 years ago, or we
I-
may have found a right of way that the town has, because the town does have an existing trail right of way along portions of that
Okay.
grayed out area. By the way,
Okay,
so.
okay. That's
So I
possible.
don't know. I'd have to go look it up and go on the GIS site and go look
Yeah.
and see if we have any.
All right, I don't want to open up a can of worms.
All right.
I'm just thinking, I know people who have
Yeah, I get
talked
it.
about
Yeah.
people trespassing. So. So we're just going to figure out I ever said that.
Well, no, I mean, that's a good thing for us to know.
Discuss.
I mean, if I were new to the area and I wanted to see the falls, I might think, oh, it's right there. I should.
Yeah.
So that I agree. Let's
And you'd probably see
think
it.
about it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, I believe on the existing map, you have some sort of language at the end of that trail that goes to the highway.
Yeah.
That it just says to underpass or continues or something like that. I didn't know if you wanted to not put anything there and wait until there's a connection, or to what you wanted to do there. Because I know it's also on state property, so.
Yeah. I mean, that gets into the whole town center trail system and all that,
Mhm.
which is, a great thing to have.
Right.
Maybe
At some
we
point, that's going to
add-
be an important box to fill in.
the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could add two down the road.
Okay.
I'll ask the subcommittee if they have a strong feeling on it. So.
And then last is Greater Woods. So no picture here yet. And Matt, I know you said there was a photography opportunity coming up, or maybe it's passed already. I don't know. With a
No, it's not this coming weekend, but the weekend after.
Okay.
The vernal pool
Oh.
party.
Okay. Yep.
So if there ends up being a photograph that we can use with the right attribution, let us know.
Because we've got a ton of pictures for Wildcat Fall. I mean, for Greater Woods.
Yeah,
we
we
do, but I think that would be
You want
awesome
one?
to
You
get a
want one
bunch
with-
of.
Oh, a bunch of kids
Kids.
playing in the vernal. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah,
I have some from a couple of years ago. I mean,
so
no
do
one-
I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the only way you'd know that they're a couple of years old is if you recognize my kids. But wait, she's in college.
Well, the brochures, the other brochures are very scenic. You know, it's just a natural looking vista. It's not
Well.
really people.
There's a picture of the vernal pool on the. You haven't seen the flyer yet, but I can send you that picture. It's just a vernal pool.
If we get something that looks like it belongs in warm weather, that fulfills my dream of having one from every season.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
All right.
Well,
Which I
yeah,
thought was
I've got some great shots. That I submitted them for our website. They're not up yet, but
I've got this one.
yeah.
I'm curious on the
Oh, jeez.
permitted uses.
Yep.
Hunting not on school property, but I was under the impression that you could not discharge a firearm within a certain amount of feet from a school. Is that, you're smiling at me? You want me to be
It's something
quiet?
else.
No,
Something else
Okay,
where
okay.
what she's saying ties in with my prohibited uses for school on school property.
It's not just on school property, it's within so many feet, and I would have to find out from the police department
well,
what it is.
Right, but that's the thing. It's not. You're relying on people that are out there hunting to know the law,
Yeah,
which is reasonable.
Or to know the boundary line.
Yeah.
So there's something
Is-
called a
is-
federal law that's called the gun-free school zone,
mhm.
and it's 1,000 feet. and typically that's posted like they post drug-free zones. The school is, as far as I know, has made no attempt to actually post their gun-free zone.
Is it from the school or from the school property?
Well, see, that's also part of the debate of the law, so you're really getting into a can of worms there.
All right, I've been famous for a can of worms today.
Supposedly it's from where they're common student gatherings.
Well, I mean, you've
So
got
like
the,
ball fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be, but there's been all sorts of
Yeah,
interpretations.
yes.
Hmm.
Especially with open carry and all kinds of other things going on, so, yeah.
So whatever you come up with for what needs to be on here, there's a space crunch here because the trail descriptions, you can see we have the education loop trail, that's the fourth one down. We don't have a description for that one yet. I've been told it's coming to us. And we're also completely missing 4 trails, which Matt provided to us, but I just couldn't fit them yet. So there's 4 more trails worth of descriptions to go.
So we need to tighten these up a little, is what you're
We
saying?
have, there's 17 total trails, so it's unique from all the others where we really have to make some choices. We can go really small in the text. We can get rid of all the spaces and make it unreadable. We can trim out the descriptions even more, which Matt already did once.
I can see some.
And with that in mind, that's, we need to be careful about how we use space on the permitted and prohibited uses. One of the original thoughts was to create a third category of, permitted property-wide, prohibited property-wide, and a separate one for here's what you can only not do in a school. But that introduces a whole nother section to the back of the brochure, and we just don't have the space already, and we're missing things. So in order to keep it consistent with what we've done on the other properties where we're at least acknowledging every trail with a description, there needs to be some cuts. Because assuming that education loop trail can stay within a sentence or two, that bumps that leftmost column all the way to the bottom, and then we have no room in the middle.
See, it's not a real trail yet. Very difficult to follow is about all you need to put on there.
Yeah, right.
So you can imagine, basically take that those 4 trail descriptions on the middle part and double that space, and that's what we need, unless you cut the other ones down to a sentence each or something like that. So good luck.
And we may be able to combine a couple. Like, some of them have the same type of feel. So we could, put salamander, millipede, and caterpillar or centipede together and say, these trails are all blank.
Right.
They're all the same red, right? They're all, Yep.
Amphibian system.
And then the only other comment, I think, on the map was that, this map is a little unique in that instead of me just picking random colors for each individual trail to make sure they stand out from each other, you've got kind of a color-coded use system. And so you run into a small problem where you've got connector trails that are black, and someone might say, well, how come every trail, I know what I can do except these connector trails? Just because they're unnamed, we kind of left them as this nebulous black color.
But
do they need to?
Engage did send some names to some of those,
Yep,
so that
I know
might
that
make
was-
some of the black lines.
I think that was
blue.
fixed for all but 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's still a couple that are.
Yep, I think we're left with whatever that connection out to Bambi Trail is, and then that kind of stub going,
Into the water.
yes, going out to the water easterly from Eagle and Brickyard.
Do we want to indicate where the gates are on Greater Road? Something to think about.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Gated access.
Matt might have collected that, and we just didn't add it to the map, so that,
I think
Is
he
that the
did.
Amherst side?
There is one at where Greater Road goes from yellow to blue.
Oh.
At
Yep.
that point. And there are 3 more heading east,
I'll make sure he collected those, and it's just a matter of putting them on the map.
and then put it like gate and put a point, make a gate sign in the key.
A separate
Yeah,
symbol.
Locked gate.
yeah.
You know, just it's not you can't access it. It's locked. It's a gate, a closed gate.
Okay.
No comment.
It's supposed to be no access. Closed lock gate.
Yeah.
That's stewing over there.
Are all those gates before you hit the main port of Greater Road where all the other trails are? Or are there some that as you continue down the
So there's one at
past
the,
Tadpole, basically, or Skyline?
that's the last one is right after Skyline, and
Okay.
the other two are in between.
So between here and here, there's no gates in that open part?
Right.
Okay.
As a walker, I would love to see, on the Silverfish Trail, I would love to see a bypass of all those knots of trails there. Just a comment that I would love to see a bypass there. You could just go along the pond.
We can work on that some other time.
Just a comment.
The other trail that should probably be like the connection that goes from the end of Skyline
Yep.
and then heads out towards the power lines.
The one that goes by the end of Silverfish?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should list that on the map? And do you think we should show the power lines?
Oh, that's right, the power lines aren't here. Yeah, I mean,
Well, we show the power lines on all the other.
Yep.
you should show
and-
those power lines.
You know,
Realize they weren't there?
It is actually when someone's lost. That's a
Yeah.
great point of reference.
Absolutely, you should show the power lines.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't even miss them.
Yeah, so we collected that trail that Matt's talking about. And it at some point got taken off, but because I emailed
probably
Matt back
should
and
be.
said
If it's a trail and we use it, why wouldn't we want it on there? I mean, it's not like it's a trail we're trying to close or anything.
You talking about the one that connects to the road? Which trail are we talking about now?
What can you?
The one that so it goes from the end of Skyline, where Skyline ends at Greater Road, and it goes straight across, and then heads out to the power lines. So heads south on that,
It goes out around
heads
the
south
pond.
from Greater Road. Because you see where Silverfish kind of starts in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
It actually starts off that trail.
That's right. So, I mean, it'd be nice to complete those.
Should probably put it in and just leave it black and call it, connector trail like we do on.
Well, what do you do? Silverfish doesn't just end. I mean, people ride it all the way to the end.
That's what he's saying.
That's the one he wants to pick
Right.
up.
That's what I'm saying. So why wouldn't we just name it Silverfish all the way to the end? Why make it black?
Because it's a very different trail.
It goes over to the power lines, kind of.
Yeah. It's like ATV wide.
Yeah.
And Silverfish is very narrow.
Fine.
So do you want the entire length of the trail back that we collected, or just to Silverfish?
I would say to the end of the green.
Okay. All the way to the property?
Yeah, because it goes off the property, but
Okay.
we don't want to advertise it there.
Yep. So the question on use is are you concerned about letting people know what the uses are on those black trails, because this map doesn't tell them as it stands right now?
Well, the ones internal of the school area, that's spoken for with other wording.
And
And then there's that one that goes to the water from wildlife opening, but it's very restricted by some very large rocks. So it really is just that one here.
I mean, all those connector trails are passive use only. Really, they're not.
Yeah, and on our property, we wanted passive use,
So I
right,
can-
in that area.
That's the thing, we
Add a
could
fourth color to that bottom left trail types box.
just say passive use only, you know, minimum maintained trails, passive use only, or something like that.
I'm fine with that.
We good?
Yep.
So, like we did with the Washington, I think it might be worthwhile to plop the school down in
The building.
the building itself. Just so people understand. I mean, it says Merrimack Middle School, you can see it there, but I think maybe we might just want to make it a little bit more, stand out a little bit, so people notice that's where the school is.
Yeah, we'll just make it darker.
Yeah.
And like playing fields out there, anything that I can do too, or will they just get covered up by all those labels?
I think if you try to make them, this is already so condensed. If you try to make that, I mean, it's pretty obvious
Yep.
when you're up there that, you know, it's playing fields. Didn't we name the classroom trail? Didn't we name that whole thing Classroom Trail? Coming out into Bambi Lane.
So that from the back of the school, the I in the back of the school,
Mm-hmm.
where the kiosk is,
Mm-hmm.
past the outdoor classroom, past over that star that's the platform,
Yeah.
and then back to school loop.
Oh, that's classroom.
That's education loop. Or do you want to change it to classroom loop? So this was the last Greater Woods meeting.
All right. So education, because the education loop was supposed to be the one that went out towards Marty. That's not made.
Right, so we renamed this
Yeah.
the education loop because it goes through the outdoor classroom and does a loop. Do you want to name that classroom loop instead?
No, education loop's fine.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get. I don't.
Not
I
to be
just.
confused with school loop.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to call that the little Bambi Lane connector or whatever we're going to do. I don't know.
Is that trail to the Wapak panorama from the backside, is that done from the Silverfish? I'm just
Yeah.
asking you. It is?
In fact, the Amherst Conservation Commission led a hike on Saturday and used it.
Neat. Thanks.
All right, so we need to come up with a name for the Bambi, across the bridge section.
Could we, just a slight change, could you put the Wapak panorama, that wording,
Mhm.
on the Amherst side?
Yes.
Because the view is kind of that way.
Sure.
Are the views towards Amherst?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually towards Massachusetts.
You can see the Wapak range,
Yeah, you-
South Pack and over to Wachusett.
It's quite a view. You ought to get out there sometime and see
I
it.
will
Yeah.
do that.
Especially at
Waterbucks.
sunset.
Yeah,
Yep.
let me know.
Okay.
Good.
These are great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
These
think
are great.
Ryan's done a very nice
Yeah,
job.
you did an awesome job.
Thanks.
So the last page here is sort of like phase 2 of the project, and I know there's sort of various levels of interest in terms of online maps versus the sort of hard copy paper maps that, these can be printed off, put at the kiosks. We've also had pretty good luck blowing up these 11 by 17 maps and making them into posters too, so they could be posted at the trailheads as well. Just wanted to remind you that that's something that we can do really easily. We just have kind of this methodology to scale up from a small PDF. But the other sort of thing we're trying to accommodate is being able to provide a little bit more information about the actual GIS features in a way that can't really be done on a paper map. And you've got a little bit of a convention because you have your Wildcat Google map already. So if this can be brought back to life, I just want to talk a little bit about, so we're an Esri shop, and we have an ArcGIS for server site, which means we can publish our GIS information and put it into various apps. There's all sorts of templates that Esri provides. So that publishing workflow is fairly lightweight and efficient for us. So these are just some examples of like what we can achieve using the Esri framework for interactive mapping. So there are 4 barcodes here, and you have a phone, you have a barcode reader. You basically just sort of hover over there, and you can be taken to the interactive map automatically without having to type in the URL. The addresses can be kind of lengthy.
Did you open it up? It redraws it. It's kind of cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you try it? So once this comes up, thank you for... I have to ask my kids if I have. Okay.
I know I don't.
Right. So I have my little QR reader that I downloaded today. It's one that doesn't have ads, so I kind of liked it. So you basically just hover over the barcode. You don't have to do anything. It just reads it and then brings you to the map in a browser. So this is Safari. We have a topo map in the background. And so it's kind of one of those things where less is more, I think. We have a lot of detail on these paper maps, but if we wanted to really...
It doesn't come out very well on this projector.
Yeah. The screenshots that I brought here sort of illustrate that there is some styling that goes along with these maps that mimics what's on the paper maps as much as we could do.
Is this a static image, or is it reading your...
So this is...
If you have your location on...
Yep, so it bookmarks the extent. So by default, it brings me to a certain point on the map, and that's configurable. So, and then, basically I can just pan and zoom around.
Well,
by
I say, but
pinching and
if you
squeezing.
turn your GPS on, does it...
Yeah, so
Okay.
the 2 icons there's a home button which brings you back to the original extent, and then there's also this like navigation. It might prompt me. So basically it detects my location, and I'm going to be, obviously mapped at Town Hall here.
Right.
So it's not going to be accurate. So,
It's trying.
so
It's pretty good.
yeah, it's not bad. It's one of those things where the expectation is, I can navigate with my phone and stuff. So I will say that these browser-based sort of websites, it's approximate the location and depends on your cell phone signal, and sometimes it looks at like your browsing history, and if I've been on Boston.com or whatever, it thinks that I'm in Suffolk County. So there's just some caveats there. I would say that using just a Safari browser may not be the best way to navigate using this map. So that's why we also have like this other screenshot here, which is the Esri app. It's a free downloadable app. I'll bring it up, and it just kind of gives you an alternative view of these maps. And it's much more geared towards someone who's trying to do in-field navigation. The location refreshes very fast. The interface is optimized for someone who's, kind of fat thumbing it, in the field. So, it's very lightweight in terms of the footprint of the pop-ups. So here I might get some information about the trail, but it just gives me kind of the name. And then if I wanted to drill down more, I could click and get all the attributes that we've collected through the fieldwork for the project. So this actually represents the most detailed information we've collected on any of the trails in the region. So it's been really good for us to build out our data model. It's been a very robust project. So you're kind of accommodating 2 different audiences here. You've got someone who may want to look at the map from your website. They're behind their computer. They've got a big screen, and they're maybe planning a trip for the weekend. If you've got an audience where you want them to be able to actually take the data out into the field, I think the recommendation would be to look at the Esri app and sort of promote it as the tool of choice. And there's a hurdle there because you have to encourage people to actually download the app. So the way we structured the agreement with you would be, take these examples, use them, give us your opinion, see how functional you think they're going to be for your audience. It's kind of an interesting problem because there's not really a go-to Trails app out there. I mean, maybe there is, but I'm not aware of the vast majority of people who are using GIS information in the field. There's a whole mixture of devices and softwares and apps. So, you know, it's really kind of wide open. But for us, you know, starting with the Esri product is the most logical because it is very integrated with our servers and our desktop tools. And, you know, anytime you change the data, it's very quickly, you know, we can just refresh the information online and it's instant.
So this would be a subscription that we'd have to hold with you?
So what this is now is that, I mean, this is very minimal in terms of like the footprint that you're storing on a public-facing server. So, you know, we'd have to see going forward if it would even be something that would be justified as far as a charge goes. We set up an ArcGIS for server site on the Amazon cloud. That's where this information is living, and you pay like pennies per gigabyte, and then you pay for data transfer fees too. So, you know, this project sort of pushed us into that realm, and we're kind of getting our heads around what the fee structure really means. I mean, right now, it's minimal. It's like $40 a month for us to host this plus pretty much any other data that we'd want to publish for any other town. So it's been really good, I think. And the Amazon service is a good fit. So, you know, I think it'd probably make sense for you to stick with us. The other thing we could do is just sort of turn over all this hosting to the town. The town also pays for hosting through their GIS agreement with CDM. So that would be another way to do it. But I mean, you know, if it only costs us $40 a month, you know, to pass on a cost, you know.
I'd rather leave it there for now. If anyone's got any ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
But regardless, for the first year,
Right.
we're not going to, you know, quibble over those kinds of things.
So these QR codes are active, right?
Yes.
So that's it? And this is what they're going to stay. So we can.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, just each app that we publish gets its own unique app ID,
Right.
and that's associated with each of these barcodes. So depending on how we change, and you may say, okay, I want to add like, you know, the property boundary, for example, to the online map. So that URL doesn't change because of that
Right.
change. So,
Okay.
yep.
So are we going to want these QR codes on our maps?
Very good question. We didn't add them because, you know, we wanted to make sure that that's kind of the direction you wanted to go. You know, the alternative is to add barcodes for other pages on your website, too. You know, space is a constraint, but Ryan seemed to think that, you know, we might be able to make space like within the map itself, you know, with a little bit of text that says, you know, interactive version, you know, scan this
Oh,
code.
this is. I would think that we should be able, because those squares can be smaller than that.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Yes.
they're that size on the map. They can be smaller. Than that.
I don't know how small they can go.
Yeah.
But right.
Yeah.
They should
yeah.
just be in a consistent spot on every map.
Yeah, which probably means on the map itself somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like the north arrow.
Yeah.
Some
It would just
spot.
have to be in some kind of, you know, over by the title or something, some
Yeah.
contiguous location.
Because the only
Right.
other place to hide it is the cover, which I don't think you want to do that.
No.
Yeah. So you have to sort of put yourself in the shoes of the audience. Most people will have one or two browsers on their phone, so when they click on that barcode, it'll bring them to that browser
Right.
experience. You know, it's another step to then say, okay, in-field navigation, we suggest the Esri app, and that's a separate download. So, you know, it's a bit of bringing the audience along if you really want to serve that group of people. Now, the other thing we've talked about is the GPX data. So we've got some sample data. I was thinking maybe, Matt, not to sign you up, but, you know, if we could give you some sample GPX data, because I believe you have like a Garmin that you're using, and just to give us the reality check that the data from Esri to GPX is functional and, you know, is compliant, because it's a bit of a black box for us. We have an old Garmin, but, you know.
I have a very experienced Garmin user friend
Okay.
who's has very discerning taste for what he.
Okay,
So don't
that
show
would
it
be
to him.
great.
He'll
Yeah,
get
no, we
more.
need that because yeah, I mean, what we found is that, you know, with the tools that we have, we can generate GPX files that are visible in Basecamp. You know, they look good to us in the office, but we kind of need that field check on it. So that's another way to put the information in the hands of your audience. It might be someone who's disconnected from Wi-Fi or a cell connection, and
Yeah, I think
using
that's
his phone.
important having those, because
Yeah.
I've got a couple of apps on here that if I had the GPX, I could actually utilize that in the
What are
field.
those apps? Gaia?
Gaia.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's the biggest one.
Okay.
So
So, and you use maps offline?
you can use maps offline. Yeah.
Okay, so that's,
And
yeah,
that's
I
with
use
the-
Backcountry Navigator.
Okay.
So then I also have a Garmin that I always take in the field when I go out anywhere because it's rugged. I don't worry about it.
Okay.
You know, I always take a track wherever I go, whenever I go out, and I just click the thing on my backpack, and when I come back at the end, I just say, okay, track's done, and it
Right.
captures everything. So
Okay. So I have this Gaia GPS. Is that the same
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the paid version or the free version?
I don't know.
The paid version will let you keep tracks and use things like that.
Okay.
Not the free version. It's
Backcountry Navigator.
So that's
yeah, yeah.
okay. We'll look at both. So the GPX file has to be loaded up onto your phone before you go out. It's not like you hit it on a web server somewhere and you're actually putting it on
iTunes, basically, just like anything else.
But
The GPX file, does it? It lives on your computer, and you grab it on your phone through
Right.
iTunes or any other
Right.
drag and drop.
right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, our intent was to have those available off our website.
Right.
So that way
Right.
people could just click on it and they could download it to whatever device they're on,
Right.
that they're using, so.
Yep. Yeah, and so it's up to you if you want us to hand you physically the GPX files and have Wendy load them up onto the content management system that you're using. The other thing is we could put them on NRPCs because we're using the same platform too, and just give you the URL. It
Doesn't really matter either way, so.
Okay.
Because I was gonna add the links to our pages,
Okay.
so.
So we'll send some sample data then this week. We can do that. You know, given that some of this is changing, you know, some of the trail names and that sort of thing. But
I can dress up the GPX files after I get it into something a little easier to manipulate, like Google Maps or something like that, but I've not tried to, I mean, can you get GPX files that have this much data in it?
so the
Or
the
some-
Esri to GPX conversion tool
Yeah.
has certain assumptions about what the structure of the data is. So it'll give you things like track name, elevation. It's like 6 or 7 attributes that
Okay.
what we would call attributes that would make their way into the GPX. If there are other requirements, though, we could certainly
I'm just trying
look
to
at
think,
that.
if you want someone to download a map, I mean, the trail name, you know, the type of usage, you know, other than that,
I'm not sure that GPX format has that.
well, that's what I'm saying.
ability
That's
for
what I'm saying.
those.
I'd love, you know, ideally, that's on whether we can do it or not. That's a whole nother.
Mm-hmm.
You
You should have the trail name.
But the trail name, but also like, you know, non-motorized or
Yeah.
motorized. That would, you know,
I don't think
some way to designate. I don't know, some
just distinguishing characteristics.
yes,
of-
some, you know, because
It may depend on the app that someone's
Right.
using too.
you know,
So-
Right.
someone grabs this GPX, like, oh, look at this, and they show up with, you know, they show up on their bike or they show up on their, you know, quad, and they're like, oh, wait a second, I'm not allowed on any of these. You know, just
So what we'll do is, yeah,
I'd like to know what kind of attributes can we assign to it on the GPX side that will,
right,
you know, when they get on their phone, they can, oh yeah, I can't go there, I can't go here, whatever. I mean, just
right.
some way to distinguish what they are.
Well, we'll try for all of it right now.
Well.
You know, we'll see how much we can stuff
Right.
in there, and then we can see how much actually makes its way through. You know, there's also KML as an alternative as well. It seems like some of these apps, if they are happy with GPX, they can also accommodate KML. So we could look at that as well. So, I mean, I guess, you know, this is our sort of our foray into this, and, you know, we're willing to flex to make sure you guys are happy with and that it works.
I think we're all gonna learn through this.
Yeah.
Do you want to point out how the properties are all connected on the?
Oh yeah. Just, you know, I can just talk about the.
Yeah, that's back. I don't know which one you have. The Gaia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have any of your stuff in here.
GPX, KML, and KMZ
Right.
is what Backcountry will bring in.
Okay. Okay.
And if you have line work on this, you can touch the screen and it'll bring up a pop-up window like.
As I said,
Have you seen that?
I've only been working on it
Okay.
on here,
Okay.
so
All right.
I really haven't done that much.
And
with it.
that's, in some ways, I think, where the rubber meets the road. You know, there's one thing to get the data somewhere where, you know, these apps can hit it, and then it's another thing to style it, configure it,
Right.
make it user-friendly, and that's where the Esri platform is, you know, nice for us. You know, yeah, we could work and kind of get the information into, say, a KML format. It takes a lot of manual translation, troubleshooting. You've got KML versus KML network links. You got, you know, all these things. So it just becomes a little bit more tenuous and fragile that way when you're moving between platforms. Not to say it can't be done. And if, you know, at the end of the day, people aren't using this, what's the point? You know, we want to make sure that it's actually going to, you know, have a healthy utilization. So, but you know, Ryan's pointed out too. Go back to my browser here. I'll go back to my map. So Horace Hill is actually sitting alongside Wasserman and Wildcat on the same kind of seamless map here.
Right.
So, especially for the other two systems, you know, it's kind of continuous. You know, we've kind of got extents bookmarked. So depending on your entry point into the map, you're brought to the system that you're, you know, expecting. But then the only Greater Woods is kind of broken out into a separate map here. And let me see if I can get my QR. Hopefully this will be happy. Essentially, the legend for the Greater Woods map is different because we've got. I think I might have misfired. I've got a lot of tabs here. Let me close these all down. Get another shot here. It snags the one I saw before. Okay. The legend is very, very kind of explicit here, where you know, basically the colors mean something at Greater Woods and they don't on the other maps other than showing the distinct trails by name. So essentially what we've got is two different web maps, one for Greater Woods and one for the other three systems. And I think that's okay, as long as you think that, you know, someone who's interested in Greater Woods isn't going to want to browse over PAN and see the other trail information. If it's more desirable to have one single map with 4 bookmarked extents and all the symbology the same, that would be fine too. But we started with just kind of mimicking what the brochures look like. Because I think probably at the end of the day, you might have someone who's got the brochure in one hand and their phone in the other.
Yeah. Do you think the maps all need to be together? I don't personally.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what happens, you know, when, you know, some other parcel becomes a park? Now we have to remake the map?
Worms.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, if each one's separate, or I mean, obviously some of them are together now. I mean, but I don't feel the need to have them all on one.
Okay.
No. Okay.
But they and they can access it from our website
Yeah.
if they want to do that.
Right.
Yep.
So I think just at the end, you know, if Gage, I don't know if you want to circulate the barcodes here, if everybody has it now.
Everyone should
I encourage, you know, if you don't want to do it on your phone, whatever, that's fine. Just the URLs in that Word document are live, so you can just click on them and see what it looks like in a browser.
Okay.
And that'll help facilitate the final data review as well. You know, you might see stuff in the data that you just need us to tweak so that it's
I'm sure once we make them public, we'll get lots of comments.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Do you want me to forward the email so everyone has it?
Sure.
This email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just didn't get a chance to forward that today.
Yeah, because it came out today.
Sarah-
This here is
Sarah
a Word
sent this to
document.
us.
So these are
Sarah sent
URLs.
this as an
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
This as an
So you
email.
should
So.
all have
That was
it.
today, though, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not totally neglectful.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is cool. so neat seeing it all come together.
Yeah, this has been a fun project, for sure.
In a,
Huge project,
Yeah.
big project.
in a non-related question, the hazardous waste pickups, are they only in locally, are they only in Milford and Nashua?
There's one in Pelham.
Oh, all right. So,
Is that still local? No.
It's in the Nashville region.
Yes.
There's one this Saturday, right? I
They're the
believe so.
first one of the year. isn't it?
Nashville?
Nashville,
Yeah.
yeah, Saturday, yeah.
At your basement.
No latex paint.
Right.
Say it right to camera.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is great.
Yeah.
So when we do want to, when everything's final and we do want to get different sizes for the kiosks and things like that,
let me know, I mean,
what do you
is it a
suggest?
short way from here or a long way from my house?
I mean, the printing cost would be low, really. I mean, it's not a couple bucks a can. It's not.
Bring a big
If you wanted mounting, that sort of thing, we'd have to talk. But we could run off a few copies at the office if you wanted to post them at the trailheads. You start talking 10, 20 copies, and it starts that up. But so, is there something in particular that you need it for? You think? That's something coming up.
No, I just think we have a lot of different size kiosks.
Yep.
We have not been consistent.
Yep.
And it's almost like for some of the properties, there are other things that the subcommittees like to have in their kiosks. So I think it's probably up to us to figure out
What's a base size?
yeah, what we should start with. But I think it'll probably take some experimenting too. We might, try one and be like, oh, well, it's a little too small or large or whatnot.
And if you've got room, you might even decide to put the QR code off to the side on another piece of paper just to make it prominent. Or if we're going to put it on the map, at least it'll be on the map when this turns into a poster. So
Sure.
it'll be really handy at the kiosk.
You made a comment about enlarging these is a little bit of a process.
Yeah, so the
it's-
layout here is 11 by 17.
Right.
So what we end up doing is dumping it to a high-res TIFF file and then sending that to the plotter. So that basically rasterizes the entire document at a very
So
high-res.
we just can't take these and just print them
No, yeah.
So
Like on your town plotter, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't come out very nicely. But I mean, we could give you those high-res TIFFs too if you're interested in those. They're just huge. But
I would just
for
think
printing,
once we get to the point where they're not done, but they're done
Yeah.
enough to be done as going forward. That might be the time we want to.
yeah, that'd be another way.
Because we're going to want to make more than 2 or 3 copies. That's not fair.
Okay.
To say, that's not fair to go to you guys and say, look, we just need another copy. Hey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can print them yourselves, then we can just give you those print files. That's fine too. Makes sense.
All right.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not turning the lights back on.
It's plenty bright in here.
Oh, we
Yeah.
need the projector. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you.
No.
No.
All right, moving on. Skidder damage. Been disappointing, to say the least. Trying to get this, get some traction on this. Dawn filled out a complaint form for me. We got it sent off to DES. I finally got hold of someone at DES, and talked to her, and she was just like, just send me the complaint form, send me all the information, I'll make sure it gets to the right hands, and then we'll go forward. So I'm now waiting to hear back from her to make sure that that's truly what happened. So it's been it's just kind of it's ours to deal with. It's not going to seemingly going to get a lot of traction from anyone else. So they're waiting for us to come up with some way to make an assessment.
Who's they? What,
Well,
the town manager now?
Yeah, well, the town. They're the town and the police are saying, they'll deliver the information, but we need to come up with it. So,
So they're not holding to their responsibility then? Sorry, that's an opinion of mine.
well, yes, I think that shouldn't be the ones held responsible to find this, but, if I'm in their point of view too, I mean,
Well, that's been the whole
Yeah.
point. I've been trying to get them to wake up and say for the last couple of years, this is no different than Wasserman Park, Watson Park,
Yeah.
and all the other parks
This
that we
building.
have. Right.
Yeah.
It's a town property. The town should take ownership of this. You look at our town charter, and the town manager is responsible for all real property in the town, including these properties. Okay? Time to just step up. Sorry, I'm done. I'm off.
don't apologize.
Yeah.
Don't by any
just-
means apologize.
so-
That's no need for that.
So aggravates me that the town people put hundreds of thousands of dollars away for us to do exactly what we've done, and now when push comes to shove, our own administration won't follow through and do what the townspeople wanted. I mean, we've been at this. We started this. It was started in earnest by the commission back in the 90s, all the way into the early 2000s. We had huge budgets to do what we want to do. It's in our town master plan, so that was put together by people of the town. The people of the town bought Horse Hill Nature Preserve. That bond comes due this year. It's almost over after spending nearly $4 million on it, and you can't get them up to write up a report that says they knocked down 10 trees and this is their value. I mean, this is ridiculous.
So, the other option that we've had, I've been in touch with Jeff Littleton from Moosewood Ecological for the vernal pool. He's the one who's leading that vernal pool party. He was the last professional. He's the last one that was in there in Horse Hill doing that work. He went and assessed the trail for us, that up a rocky trail, which is the one that took a brunt of the damage on this. So he does not, he's not comfortable going there and making assessments of the wetlands. He says, I'm not a wetland scientist. If you've actually damage in there, that's something that you really have to have a wetland scientist come in and really make that assessment. Obviously, that's not a free assessment. So, as a path forward, trying to get some handle on what needs to be done. Just kind of waiting for us to say, yeah, come on in and go make an assessment. Because all we're really going to get from him is, in his company, is an ecological assessment. This is the damage that's been done. This is how long it's going to take to recover. Assigning a value to it is going to be a little bit, it's going to be difficult. Because, how to restore the wetlands, it's going to be,
Has anyone contacted this Alex Jordan Logging Company?
Yes. Yeah, the police have been in contact with him. He's admitted that he did it, which, okay, that's great. We knew you did it anyways.
Is he insured?
He's waiting to be told how much he needs to pay.
Okay.
That's how I was told. That's what I was kind of left with
Okay,
us.
so my feeling is what he has to pay would include the cost of the,
Oh, absolutely.
so we should, in my opinion, the town manager should be getting on top of this, but that means that the town council needs to support us to let the town know that they need to do this. So is the town council supporting us, or the town council is not?
I'm not sure how much they know.
Right.
Tom is no longer here.
Right,
No longer on this committee, I should
Right.
say it that way. Sorry.
right.
Tom is still here. He's just not on this committee any longer. He's no longer on town council, I believe. He's already recruited himself from there too. So, and it won't be until their next official meeting before they can appoint another
Okay.
conduit. So I've been dealing with the community development office and the chief. Just this is what we've done so far. So we submitted the complaint form this morning, and with the police report, the pictures.
And the town manager is saying, what was the town manager's?
No, it's like they need all this they need the assessment.
So can we go ahead and get the right people?
I think so. If it's being, I think, left up to us, then yes.
So, meaning we have to pay for it too, right?
We have to pay for it
But
up front.
wouldn't the town pay for it up front?
You would,
The town would pay for it, not us.
my opinion, the town should pay for it until they get reimbursed.
We can take a vote here, but I can't vote to have the town pay.
Right, I guess,
What it comes down to. So I said, all we could do is we could vote to, and I don't have any idea what it's gonna cost.
right.
Jeff was like, he said, without going in there and looking and having the wetland sites come in and look, I have no idea.
Do we need to go to the town council and say, this is what we need to do, we need you to let us know that, you're gonna spend this money?
My opinion, it's totally within the realm of the town manager to make these decisions.
Okay.
So I
Totally within her
I
right
can
and
go-
ability to do that.
I can get a proposal from Jeff, or from anyone if we want to go somewhere
She
else.
could too.
Well,
I'm sorry, okay,
Yes.
I won't say it.
no, you're right. You're right. I'm not going to argue, but you're right. You're absolutely right. But
So why isn't she doing it then? Do we
I
just
can, I
haven't
can
told?
get that. I can have him write something up, and I can say, here you go. This is what we need to have done.
Yeah.
Or
Because, they know what they want, so why don't they just go get it? Right?
Yeah, I guess I'm just confused. If she is the town manager, then essentially she works for the town, which means that she works for the town council and,
She works for the town council as a
Okay.
body,
okay.
and everyone else in town works for her.
So we work for her?
No,
Well, we don't get paid
We-
anymore.
we don't work for any.
Volunteers.
We,
No, I'm
we
just
were-
trying
we-
to
we
understand
were-
the hierarchy
So
here.
we were appointed by the town council,
Okay,
so we answer to the town council at some level.
but this is, what, a $4 million investment we're talking about here that needs to be taken
This is,
care of?
this is a piece of town property
Mhm.
owned by the town,
Right,
of which the town manager has full ability to manage and take care of, just as she would this building, Wildcat Fall, the little ball field over here, and anything else, Twinbridge
Okay.
Falls, and
okay.
and
It
everything
seems
else.
pretty open and shut to me.
Yeah.
That-
It's just that it's not something they've been doing in the past, when I think it's now time for them to step up.
mhm,
This is no different, this is town property,
mhm.
okay? So,
so we can push to have that happen, or facilitate that,
right.
which is the kind of where we sit right now. So
Do you have time to do that?
it's a phone call, and
How can she say no to you, Gage?
well, and again, and Tom was kind of the go-between here, and,
Right.
and he's obviously not, so now I'm sure there's information that we don't have that,
Horse Hill is an investment that the
Yeah.
town made. And I would think that they would want to take care of their investment.
That was voted on by the public, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To me,
well,
it just
it was a
seems
bond.
very-
It was a bonded item. It was tax-based.
So the argument has been that, well, we asked you guys to manage that, so this happened on the property, you guys manage that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, so if she says no, then the next logical step would be for us to go before the town council and say, we need her to manage this.
Yeah.
So,
Right, that would be the next logical step.
okay.
Yep.
So let's,
I think in reality, she's going to turn around and say, I'd like to work with you, but I don't know exactly what I need to be doing. So I don't think it's extremely deliberate, but
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not. I can't say I really harbor any ill will. I'm just saying that, like, okay, who do we call? What do we need to do?
so then we need to get the name of wetlands person for her that she will
Well,
call.
Yes, we could do that, or again, I've in speaking with Jeff, he's like, look, we can do that. We can come in and make the assessment. Moosewood can come in. We've used them. They've done their biodiversity plan in town. They've done a lot of work in town for us. I'm comfortable with their work. I would just soon farm it out to him as one person instead of trying to hire.
Right.
and ask him to bring in his own wetland
Right.
scientist.
Yeah, this is we need.
Oh, okay, right,
we need
so
to have
he
this.
would get,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
We
would
need
be
we need this assessed. It's been this.
Oh, yeah,
This
definitely
is
that
the
one.
damage we know about.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
If he wants to call in a forester,
Right.
great, go ahead.
So to go out and make an assessment, there'll be
Yep.
a charge for that, or?
Of course he would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be, it'd be, I would think, a couple days. I mean, that's a couple-hour walk to,
Yeah.
what Don did was a couple-hour walk through the property, and he was just snapping photographs. So, to stop at each one and really,
And the
No.
sooner the better.
Yeah.
Get out there.
right, that's also what we're kind of running up against now. You're talking, we're close to a month. And, I don't know, eventually even my yard's greening up now. That's a pretty sorry piece of turf. So,
Yes, but you're not using strong fertilizer.
no.
Yeah, right.
No phosphate.
well, I mean, if you just give, if you give her Jeff's
Yeah.
thing, then that's a starting point for her.
Okay.
So she can get going on that.
And DES will be kind of a separate,
Well, I
thing, right?
included in complaint, I included Tim Thompson on the complaint, so he's kind of, as I understand it, he's the contact for, he's the contact in town, so I put him down as the contact. And then sent the complaint.
yeah, good.
So they've got his phone number and email.
But I mean, they would come out, do their assessment, and then fine him as opposed to including it with our package.
So Horseshoe Fishing Game hired this Alex Jordan logging?
Don't lose your question. I'm sure I don't understand what you're saying.
I mean, they would assume fine him correctly. They'd fine him directly for wetlands violation.
I don't know
Potentially.
how. I would think so, but I'm
Okay.
not sure how that works.
Okay. But I mean, we'll do our own damage assessment.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm confirming that Horseshoe Fishing Game hired this guy, and apparently,
I'm
I'm
not sure
assu-
we know
we're
that.
not sure.
We're
Okay.
assuming that that's who did the land clearing for them,
Okay.
but
Well, I think they told that to Don.
yeah, we're assuming
He
that.
said at our last meeting that he went and asked him. He's a member. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's who did the land clearing for them.
Hired him.
So.
but-
Okay.
So you'll go to the town manager, and we'll be back here on May 1st, or whatever our next meeting is. And we'll be in the same boat. So do we want to have a plan B that says that the town manager isn't going to do something that Gage is authorized to act?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, our next meeting is the 1st. So
Want to do the motion?
that does include the fact that we don't really have any way to put a price tag on it yet. I mean, I don't feel, I feel very comfortable with Jeff. I don't think we get our money's worth from him. He does some extras for us anyway, so I'm not too worried about that, but I have no idea what this
So-
type of thing is gonna cost.
Do we approve that, not knowing
Right.
if we have to pay for it or if the town is going to pay for it?
So I moved to authorize Gage to spend up to $2,000 engaging with Moosewood Ecological to do a proper assessment and bring in whatever consultants are necessary to do that proper assessment. And then once the bill has arrived, that we ask the town to cover the cost of the bill. In the meantime, we'll cover all costs from Fund 53.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 600.
So I made the motion that way to give the town the opportunity to step up. If
Right,
not, Jeff will be paid, and we'll deal with that situation of the non-stepping up at another time,
Okay.
when we're not under the gun.
So I'll contact the town manager and present information and
Yep.
we'll go from there.
Yep, tell her, ask her if she's gonna do it and pay for it, say if not, we will, but we will become billing the town afterwards.
Okay.
Even if that includes a meeting in front of the town council.
Are you done with that?
I think so, unless anyone else have any other questions about the skidder information, damage?
So I have a similar incident that was reported to Tim Thompson and the police through the Greater Woods Subcommittee on the donut hole logging operation. So they're still pulling logs, and a couple of members of the subcommittee observed them pulling logs on one of these 80-degree days, and the water was just running down the logging road with all of the chip that they've been putting on the road to make it drivable.
Yeah.
Right into our wetlands. So the wetlands below the road are just black and full of chip. And no straw bales, nothing.
That Greater Road is unrecognizable.
Yeah.
now.
So the police went in and shut them down.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
So I
For
don't,
how long?
I don't know.
So that needs to be reported to DES as well.
I think I mentioned that to Tim and the officer.
Did you forward him that complaint form?
I did not.
Okay.
And I didn't have time to reach back out to him today. However, the officer that was handling it reached out to me with some follow-up saying that he had gone out, and so then they have a landing that is 30 feet high, and I don't know how many logs are in it, but
Amazing amount of hardwood trees they have piled up there.
yeah, it's unbelievable.
Who authorized that?
Huh?
Who authorized
Well,
logging?
they have an intent to cut.
Yeah, that's
It's private property
It's
they're
private
doing
property.
it on.
Oh.
But
and they're making it's a wasteland.
no, the town
It's
owns
awful
the
looking.
road, though, right? The Greater Road.
It's a
It's
public
Class
way.
6.
Public way.
Public
public
way.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
But now you need a
Because
tank
then-
to cross it.
what gives them the right to alter
grade,
it.
The road.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's an AOT. They if they've altered it and haven't filed for AOT, or they've altered it because of bad management practices, then that's
So the people that were here today came before us because they were near wetlands and they wanted to do things. So why didn't whoever was doing the logging, whoever owns that land, why didn't they have to come before us to get permission to do the logging? If it's going to affect our wetlands.
because they're going into wetlands without permission.
Yeah.
And
So they're
against-
just so,
So
They're
they
supposed
could
to.
they could have done the project without impacting wetlands, and there's best management practice for timber cuts around wetlands that they could follow. If they don't follow those, then they're in violation of the timber laws.
okay.
But there's no one that's going to go out and check per se unless residents or people check.
Okay.
Okay, there's no process that says, hey, we're going to go validate. All they have to do legally is file what's called an intent to cut. And the whole idea of the intent to cut is to put the town assessors and tax collector on notice, because we can actually tax them for the timber they take out.
Really?
So all the intent to cut does is say, hey, I'm cutting trees and I'm going to owe you some money. This is what I think it's going to be, and when it's all done, I'll give you the tally.
So is there like a minimum number of trees that you're taking down
If-
to file an
correct.
intent to cut?
Yes, there is, yeah, yeah. So, and this project is way beyond that.
Yeah.
now. So,
I think they've
so
done
if you're
the whole
doing,
thing.
if you're doing 10 trees in your backyard, no, that doesn't
Yeah.
count, okay? But the whole idea of intent to cut is so that the town gets its share
Okay.
of dollars. That's all it is. It's not an enforcement, it's not a double check that they're doing following best management practices. It's none of that.
So in other words, if there was no Conservation Commission and nobody to report this
There was
to,
nobody watching them, they would
Then-
just have happened.
then they just wreck the wetlands.
They
Yep.
do, yes.
Happens, and it
Now,
happens all-
the risk they take is that, you have to, to be a logger requires licensing and all those other things. So if you're found in violation of the timber laws, you could be fined and have other actions that come against you. But there's no one enforcing that at this point. The state isn't big enough, doesn't have enough people to go out and do that. And the town certainly doesn't do that because all they're looking to do is to collect their fair share of the cut.
Kind of ironic that the towns that have so much wood, so much timber, aren't big enough to do that. There's just not enough population and money in it. Yeah.
So on this one, to get out at night, they were using a dozer
Oh,
because I think that was the only thing that could traverse the road at that point, and they were just back dragging the chip to cover over it, and all that chip was just running into our wetland
Wow.
because the wetland is on our property. If you know,
Yeah, right over.
if you look at the map.
The property we just got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wetland is, I mean, you can see the wet starts, at that corner, kind of under the power lines, and it's all wet, down to the back lots of the Wilson Hill property owners. And that whole wetland is just black. And to get to it, you had to walk off the road, because if you were walking on the road, you were knee deep.
wow.
Anyone take pictures?
Yeah.
Good. Because that's gonna have to accompany the complaint form. And did the police send you a report?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure they have one though.
I just forwarded the complaint form to Tim.
Okay.
So,
Thank
I mean, they've already been put on notice because they went in and altered the road without permission as well.
Yeah, and that happened a few months ago.
Right?
That's
Before
that's the first time
logging.
we stopped them.
Yeah, and they're altering even more.
Yeah, now it's
But I don't care.
apparently not.
They'd love to have someone come in and tell them they want clear cut.
Are they harvesting for timber? Or are they harvesting because eventually they're going to try to sell the land? You don't know?
They've made a it's a field. Yeah, I mean they just clear cut everything.
I wonder if they're looking to put a development or
Well,
something.
I know, but it's a beautiful piece of property. It's going to be difficult to get to.
Mm.
The topography of it, I think. But
Especially
I can't imagine having all that woods and not wanting to. You'd carve a road up and have some. I mean, it's.
Yeah, that's too bad.
You got some good pictures. There you go. That's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, they whether the housing development's going in, that's clear, but the rest of it is,
Yeah,
they
that's-
took all the quality out and they left.
Yeah.
Young.
Makes me hurt.
Oh, I couldn't even, I usually
The
go
shooting barn.
like this,
For
and
a
then
family
go
pool.
around like this. and Last time I couldn't even, it's just all slag. like-
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Has anyone got any other questions about that? The new business that was. That's lovely little input. All right. I incorrectly put this on here, the classroom bridge. I think it's going to be handled by the subcommittee. We meet tomorrow night?
Yes.
Yeah, so that will be handled tomorrow night, and they'll have the dates and when we get back out there, and that'll be coming back up to here as an FYI, so I don't feel that should have been on here. Subcommittee updates? Do we have any, Cindy?
The Horse Hill. We had a meeting last Monday. So just some upcoming things. We're going to try and do a boundary marking day again. Like April 22nd is the first tentative date. I will not be able to attend, but I haven't seen an email yet, so I don't know if they're still planning on.
So keep in mind, we're trying to do monthly things so we can keep people on a monthly thing.
Yes, we
So-
did. We talked about that as well. I think.
April, we already got the 29th set aside for the vernal pool party.
Yes, I think that's considered the May,
Yeah, that is considered
Is
the
it May one? Oh, okay.
the May event. So I think Horse Hill
It's starting at 10, by
Is-
the way. It's on the calendar is 9.
is June. Oh, it starts at 10. Okay, I'll change that.
Sorry.
10 a.m. So I think the Horse Hill one is June, and I don't know if you remember when Lynn came and talked about the pond strobe. I keep wanting to call it troll. I don't know why.
Probe.
Oh, probe. That's it. Okay. See, I don't know why I can't get that right. Pond probe. So we might be able to get that set up for then. Just depends on who's, if the people from Audubon are available to set that up. There had been talks about doing a mushroom walk. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to do yet for the June one, but we'll see. The trail, the proposed trail that we had discussed in the winter time, remember that we had the two versions and Jeff had
Yeah.
gone out to look. I know we have to get back to that at some point. I mean, I know we've got a lot of stuff going on right now, but
That might be difficult, because that's the path that the
Oh,
I've
that it
not,
goes
I've not, yeah,
I haven't been out
Dawn's
there
got the
yet
pictures of
either.
it, so, but that is the path that the Skidder took, apparently, is right down Rocky Trail, so
Jeez.
that's part of the problem, so that might have some other implications to it.
okay.
So maybe we can kill two birds with one stone, and when we're out there
Yeah,
looking, we can look at this as well,
yeah,
at the two different routes, and make a decision.
Yeah, so that has to be done in a formal manner since it's become such a big deal.
Yep.
So therefore,
you showed me that, right?
both
Yeah.
both those trails should be marked so that people can go out and take a good look at them.
Yep.
Not just a, well,
right, no, absolutely.
right.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that, well, we talked about both the subcommittee and us going out
Right.
at some time, and I think only one of them's marked, right?
Well, so the version that I marked
Yeah,
was
pulled, right?
unmarked
It got pulled.
because they didn't like it.
Well, we need about a month lag time frame, because it's got to go through, the subcommittee wants to get notified, and it's going to have to be up here, so we're going to need,
Mhm.
need about a month notice of when we can do that walk, because it is something we're going to have to get everyone out there for.
Yeah. I just didn't want to
At
forget
least,
about
at least
it.
a couple people from this committee and the sub.
Oh, right, yeah, set it up to make sure,
Right.
yeah, the people are available.
Yeah, and so they'll both options will have to be marked in a distinctive manner, whether someone uses orange and someone uses blue or whatever.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, one of them's marked, and the other one could be marked any day.
Okay.
So should we set a date now?
Is it mud season still, or should we be waiting for mud season to be over, or is there something to be learned because
I
of the
think-
season?
It's good to do it
We want to do it when it's wet, I think. We
We
want to
wanna
be out
see
there
it.
when it's,
in April.
see when the water's out there, because there's a lot of water out there, which is the reason it's Rocky Trail, is because it's been
Mhm.
washed, all the soil's been washed away. So, that's,
And the old version of this trail is still running now.
yeah.
Because the old version of this trail is very wet. Still.
Okay. Do you have some dates in mind
23rd
of,
April.
well, you don't need me there. I mean, that's not a good day for me, but
So, yeah, I guess we need confidence that both options will be marked.
30th?
And then the markings will have to stay up for a little while.
Mhm.
Can we do next Sunday? 23rd is the next Sunday. Can we go the end of the month? Sunday is the 30th?
I'm not available the 30th. That doesn't mean we can't do it when I'm not here.
I hate to say that. When's the next Horse Hill subcommittee?
Not until June 5th.
June,
Or no, I'm sorry, you're right, yeah, I'm looking at MCC.
July, right?
See,
Yeah, July 11th.
July.
So I'm an advocate of having them marked and not, that way any people can at their leisure pick the
Yep.
right day that works for them to go take a look.
Well, yes, I agree with you, but I would like. I want people to see everything through each other's filter too.
Yeah.
Because that's what started all the. What I think is the miscommunication here was that some people, this is fine. It's like, no, it's pretty wet. No, I want to be over here. And it's like, well, that's too close. There was a lot of back and forth. So I want everyone to have the same point of view, or hear everyone else's point of view too.
So,
Well, the 29th, I mean, we have that event in the morning. You're not gonna be here the 29th either?
No, I'm here 29th.
Okay.
so where does that show up on the map, that section on the Rocky Trail?
It's actually Horse Hill Summit Trail. From point,
Okay.
if you're looking at the markers, 14 to 15 is the existing, and the proposed is in between 14 and 15, but a different route than straight down the hill.
Thank you.
So when you and I were out there, we went across Long Pond,
Right,
changed the bird box, the duck box,
right, we came up.
and then
yeah.
we came up and we came in somewhere between 14 and 15 and walked down to 14
Yeah.
and out.
So is the bottom half still marked off?
So Deb's marking
Yep.
is,
They're still there?
they pulled my flags.
Okay.
And the top half was the same. Ours, they agreed to what we
Yeah.
had on the ground going up on that side.
Can you remark that?
I could remark it tomorrow.
Okay. Can you make sure that no one touches the flags?
Oh, yeah, I will.
And the section that they pulled out of mine is much shorter than what they had proposed, than what they have in the ground.
But, so if they're back up by this weekend,
Mhm.
that gives us between now and, say, the 29th, we're gonna see if we can do a formal,
So we take it up again on the 1st at our meeting?
we take it up again on the 1st to make a decision. Because we could be out there on the 29th, the afternoon of the 29th, after sometime afternoon, and with a formal group walk. Does that work? Does everyone have time on the 29th?
I don't.
Probably.
You do not?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't know.
Looks like I do not, because I already,
We have evenings that are, we got some sun into the evenings. I mean, can we meet there after work? Can everyone get there?
The 29th or the 30th, you're saying?
29th.
Oh, 29th, yes, sorry.
Well, Cindy said she can't.
Yeah, can on 29th.
I don't want you walking on the woods anyways. I don't want you to hurt your ankle again.
No,
But-
it's okay now, yeah, but.
Yeah, I better find a pair of old sneakers.
Fun 53 of new sneakers.
Yeah.
I don't want to push it out. I don't want to push it out too late because there is some water issue out there, and we need to see the water. So I don't want to push it out too late. But
No, that's fine, I don't need to be there, I'm just,
well,
was saying
I mean, can people get there by 5 o'clock at night on the evenings?
Are we going to meet in the parking lot, or are we going to meet in there?
We meet in the parking lot.
Okay.
On the
Good, because
29th?
I'll get lost.
Well,
even if
I'm
I
saying,
have
I'm
the
trying to
map.
think, if the 29th doesn't work for everyone, I mean, what's an earlier date that works for everyone?
I'd go
27th is a Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I could do the 27th.
Work for you?
Sure.
Sorry, I got lots of issues coming up in the next month and a half, so I've got 2 houses I need to sell.
Oh,
Okay.
Tim's not going to be out there.
Tim's not going to be out there.
No, but I do, if it's marked, I will make
Yeah.
a point of getting out there, but I won't know. I mean, so you can plan your day and I just might be there.
Okay.
But I might not. Odds are I won't.
The 27th at 5 o'clock?
Do you want to say the 27th at 5 o'clock in the parking lot? Off of Amherst
the
Road?
Amherst Road parking lot, yep.
Does that work?
Mhm.
And that'll be for a formal review of the 2 trails going up, the Summit Trail review, because it has to be relocated.
Right, yeah.
So
Mm-hmm. I'll,
That's a Thursday.
that's a Thursday, Thursday, April 27th, at 5 o'clock.
You should post that.
Yeah.
Are you going to let the subcommittee know that that's when we're walking to?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Cindy's going to
Mhm.
let the subcommittee know.
yeah, I'll let them know, and, that the well, that the flags will be up this weekend. So if they want to go, if they can't go that time, they want to go another time.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Can you put that on the calendar too,
Oh, sure.
as well?
Yep.
All right.
If you send me the details for the vernal pool party, I can actually make a blurb in the website
Okay.
itself. Okay.
I just got the flyer. I haven't heard back from Shannon and Matt, so I was just kind of I notified them, but I still wanted to
Yeah.
get
Mhm.
some feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can send you. I can send you all the flyer. You can.
And if you do that, I can link it. I could put the link on the map.
We have
We have
Jeff's trying to keep it to like 20 people or so. So we've never
okay.
we advertise it. But we always kind of advertise it kind of lightly.
Oh, okay.
So, but we've never had more than 10, 15 people anyway. So I don't think it's really that big a deal. But it's interesting because it's a rain or shine. So a lot of people are like, yeah.
Oh,
And that's
right,
meeting
yeah.
at the school.
Yes, it's at the school, the upper parking lot, 10th, at 10 o'clock on the 29th. But I will send you all the flyer, and you can look at it. My incredibly fantastic advertising abilities.
Yeah. So the Spalding Foundation project, Peter was working with the Eagle Scout on that. They talked about that at the meeting. It's moving along. They've taken the fence out. But something to think about in the future, it would just be the mowing. How would we, make sure we keep the area mowed? But
How often do you think it's going to have to get mowed? I mean, you trying to keep it grass? You trying to keep the
Weed whacker?
Hmm?
Like a weed whacker kind of mowing?
no, I think with an actual mower, just around the.
What's the thing? Is it going to be like once a week type of thing, or is it a twice a year?
I used to mow that, and it was once a month,
Okay.
and I kept the mower at its highest setting, and just ran around there. But I was mowing outside of the fence. I was just mowing the field next to the fence
Mhm.
and behind it, and I went around on all sides. And I just kept the mower out in the woods under a tarp,
Is that the one that got beat up?
and that's the one that somebody smashed with a rock.
Oh, jeez.
So I stopped mowing.
Was it a push mower or
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a
The push mower, yeah.
cheap one that my neighbor was throwing
like
it
a
away.
gas
and
powered, or was it a,
Yeah, it was gas powered.
okay,
My neighbor was throwing it away, and I freed up the piston and got it running.
there you go.
Yeah, because you don't want to be trucking it out there every month, That's the issue.
All right,
But
that's something we
something
could.
to think about. Yeah, figure
Yeah.
out.
That
I'll
maybe
hide
that
it
can go on the
somewhere.
that can go on the mowing list.
Yeah, right. Leave it to them. And Don reported that the area where the water in Watson Bridge, where you were having the flooding, when we had to kind of divert the trail a little bit, he said that it's the water's flowing fine now. There's a couple of openings in some of the dams, so the water's flowing. Haven't had any issues. So as of right now, we don't need to do anything, And if the water level is, even with the openings, if it's working fine for them, then they're not going to plug it for the beavers. So.
The trouble is that's a habitat that they like.
Mm-hmm.
So the next kit that moves in, next little group that moves in, may decide that they need.
There's room. I don't know if there's enough room for another.
Yeah, but that's all in a valley right there. So they're
Family.
They're going to move down 40
Yeah, if they
feet
move
and start
down
over.
farther, but.
Or move up 40 feet and start over. I mean, that's
Mhm.
they're gonna do whatever they want. Beaver.
The beaver. Yeah.
Brains is big.
No. I don't know. They're better engineers than.
Didn't we have a reroute for that seemed to work? It was gonna. No?
Yeah, well,
They built it.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, sort of. It was kind of, I think people started walking it because of the
Yeah.
water. And so we kind of diverted it, I guess, you would say for now. I don't know if it's officially done, you know, if we have to go back out and.
Was that before or after they made the maps?
They made the what?
Is that before or after they made the map?
Oh.
It's
It's
Not
20 feet.
okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Inconsequential.
Bless you.
Excuse me, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So we don't need to worry about it.
No, and Beaver dropped a tree across the old trail.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was either cut the tree to try to claim the wet trail or start walking the new trail.
Okay.
And now it's been beat in so bad it doesn't even look like it's a new trail. It looks like it's been there forever.
You're saying that with some disgust. I'm waiting for the shoe to fall.
Yeah.
No, just
It's fine.
It-
Yeah.
going back a couple meetings
Okay.
when Tim said don't reroute the trail.
Beavers don't listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My concern is we're going to end up with like 5 different directions because of some beavers when all we have to do is wait a season and the beavers will move on and the old trail will be just as good as before.
Yeah.
We've seen that multiple times on our properties where you wait out the beavers and the beavers move on. It's a natural order there. There is a lot of food in that area, but not enough to sustain a family for more than a season or two.
Yeah.
So, so yes, my preference would have been to just, okay, if we have to shut the trail down for a season. Yeah, it's inconvenient, but oh well.
Yeah.
Than to have 5 different ways to get through 100 feet. So, it's my preference. So, one other quick note, it's the Bradish Bridge.
Thank you.
Okay.
The Bradish Bridge. Yes, I wrote down
By
the
the
Watson,
Watson
but it's
property, or the
Bradish.
Watson
Yeah,
bench, so, yeah.
Bradish Bridge.
Yep, well, Luke put a lot of work into that, so. I mean, you had
Into
to-
the bridge.
We had to haul material a long ways to
Oh.
get it to do that bridge.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So.
Bradish Bridge. Okay.
All right.
And I mean, and this wasn't recent where the trail, I mean,
Yeah.
people from walking kind of claimed a trail and then we're like, okay, for now, I guess we can keep them
Yeah.
over here. But this was a while when we had gone out.
Yeah, my preference
still
would have been to
snowing.
shut the whole
Shut
trail
down
down
then.
for a while ago, but it's
Yeah.
the way things went, so.
Well, that if
Yeah, it's
something else happens, that'll be the next
it's water
step.
over
So.
the dam, you might say.
Well, no, right,
Boom.
right.
All right. You
And from do I bring up?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know if it needed to be, you know, an agenda or something, that we received an email last night from Deborah Huffman that she was resigning from the subcommittee. And I apologize to Deborah that I haven't responded to that email, but she wants to make room, you know, for new people, but she's been on there since the inception, you know, like I said, she's
done a lot of
Part
work.
of-
She's done a ton of
Yeah,
work in
she's
town.
part of the group
Not just
that's
a part of Horse
even-
Hill. She's been.
she
She was a big part of Greater Woods when it first started
Oh,
too,
really?
and she was
Oh,
very
okay.
helpful over there. She's been a very active member in the community.
Oh, yeah, and with the pipeline,
Yep,
and
for a long time,
so
yep.
she's really done a tremendous job. So hopefully she'll still be in contact, and you know, and
She's on the town center committee. Is it? No, not anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I certainly appreciate all of her service, and
mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
I'm sure
Yeah,
she
she's been
deserves a break.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's yes. So she has done a lot of work.
Quite honestly, I mean, I wonder if we'd even have Horse Hill if she hadn't
Mhm.
gotten involved
We
with
wouldn't.
it.
We wouldn't.
We
yeah.
wouldn't, yeah,
No, there'd be no Horse Hill, there'd be 400 houses out there.
probably. So
So-
thank you, Deb.
Yes, yes.
For
thank you
Horse
for that.
Hill.
Yes, we
Let's do it. That's a good point.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
No, because she goes back to 2000, 2001, trying to arrange for the town to purchase it. And then she stood in front of the selectmen all by her lonesome
Oh.
to try and get the selectmen to move forward with. I mean, she had support from others in town. There was the Friends of Greens Pond, 'cause that's what it was known as in the beginning. So to try and get it on the ballot for a warrant article, she she went in front of Tamposi and others to convince them that selling it to the town was a better option than selling it to 3 or 4 different developers that were looking to develop the property.
Yep.
In fact, watching her, a regular person stand in front of the selectmen and try and move this thing forward, which kind of inspired me to move forward. And then in 2002, when the town voted to put in to accept the bond and purchase the property, and they put out a call for members of a committee to figure out a master plan for the property. I saw all that going on and said, yeah, this is be my first time getting involved in something in town beyond MYA, and that's how I got started.
Wow.
So
we
she
have
was-
Deb to thank for you, too.
Yeah, right, yes.
Thank you, Deb.
So she was chair for quite a while through the master plan process, and then when it got turned over to the town after the master plan was done, she stepped down from being the chair of a 30-person committee.
Wow.
And the committee put me in the spot of chair, which I stayed in until 2007, where she remained a very active member. And then when I moved on to the town council and did other things with eventually the Conservation Commission, she's been involved. So you go back, it's 16 years of her life that she's been spent, working in Horse Hill and all the various aspects of it. So she
All the
certainly
while.
has dedicated a lot of her life to this. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be appropriate if we had a plaque or something put together to recognize her activities.
Would love that. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Great idea.
So
You
Do you
volunteer.
want a motion?
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we expend up to
2,000? No, I'm kidding.
I have no idea how much it was.
I don't know either. I'm just-
$250 from Fund 53. For Tim to appropriate a plaque for Deb.
Where would it go on the kiosk?
There's some type of
I would
permanent
say
memento.
we present it to her. Or
Yeah, present it to her. Yeah. A second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 600.
Thank you. Good idea.
Thank you, Tim.
To take that one step further, would it be appropriate to kind of write up kind of what you just said and put that up on the kiosk so that, the general person that would come would read that and see kind of the history of how this all came about? Do you think?
At least a marker on our website.
Yeah, we can.
Mm-hmm.
Not to make more work for you, but it's nice.
But it
it's
is.
nice. It's nice to have a plaque, but then she has the plaque, and what I'm thinking of is a
Who else knows?
recognition.
Yeah.
So that other people would know that, because
Yeah.
that's fascinating history.
We have it in the
Yeah, man.
stewardship plan for Greater Woods. We have
the
sort of a
kind of a running dialogue, a history of each
I think
part.
it's
Yeah.
very appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the master plan for Horse Hill, there is some of that history is in there as well. So.
Yeah, but just not
We
so
make
that
an amendment,
An amendment.
what's
an amendment to the
appendix?
motion.
Appendix?
Yeah.
No, I meant he's talking to the Horse Hill plan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the master plan.
Make an appendix that you can
Mhm.
start putting the history in there so it doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
We can look into that, maybe. That's just one of those things. That's what talking about can of worms is opening that document back up for modification. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a minute.
It's been on the agenda for
Oh,
Greater
yeah,
for 6 months and we haven't done it yet.
yeah. Well, we're moving it a little bit. All right. You good?
Yep. Well, so I guess that will leave an open full-time position.
When's her term?
I believe it's up this year.
This year, July.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know
Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
if it was, if she's,
I was just curious
if she's
if you
gonna
have an alternate that
come
wants to
through?
step in now to do it, or
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Dawn would actually.
Well, I think technically we ought to put
But-
something up that says we're looking for, not
Yeah.
to belittle any of our current alternate members, but we should
You should be on
open it
the
up.
agenda,
Yeah.
right?
so that people can apply if they'd like to.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
You looking for graders?
Yes.
It appears there was another promposal
What?
in Wildlife Opening 1.
Oh, no.
It's become popular, huh?
Yes.
A what?
A proposal.
Oh, like really?
Yeah.
Did you know about that one the other couple years ago?
No.
Someone took a bunch of sparklars. I'm not even sure what it was.
It was Roman candles.
Roman
or,
candles.
You know,
Oh,
and
fireworks.
they
My
wrote
wife's-
prom question mark. And
Oh,
they,
that's
and,
what
and it
my,
was.
my wife says she saw a bunch of.
It was so big that you had to get up on the rocks and look down at it to realize what it said, because when you were right down on top of you, like trying to read it from here, it was someone spent a lot of time.
So that one we reported to the police, and the police found on Facebook the person
And his
doing
date.
because these promposals are televised, you know, videos, and that was handled. And I believe this promposal was stumbled upon, and that history lesson was given to the proposor, and everything was cleaned up very quickly.
Did she say yes?
I don't know. I just got a great picture of what
That's
it
always
looked
that's
like.
always the important. You know.
There's a bunch of like motif, little candles and stuff, right?
Oh.
A bunch of candles.
Yeah, it was candles, and it was mostly.
I didn't see it, but my wife saw it.
Yeah, it was mostly just
Was it
ribbons,
you, Mike? No, yeah.
and
Wasn't as good as the other one.
streamers. So it was. I mean, it's pretty elaborate.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah, someone spent some time.
Yeah, clean up after.
Wow, yeah.
So that was the.
Oh, my goodness.
In addition, we had a quad that got inside of the so was outside of the gates and didn't know how to get back into Merrimack. So they disassembled the gates to get through.
Is that what Steve was talking
Yes.
about with the skyline?
Yes, so
Okay.
you saw the picture.
So I can rip this note up then?
Yeah, you saw the picture on Merrimack Outdoors
Yes.
of the gate being taken apart.
I didn't necessarily see that. I did see the note that wanted to know if
Did they
we
leave
would
it in
ask
pieces, or
about
they
it.
put it back together?
They left it open, you know, just took it apart and left it open. But luckily, we got the reg number from somebody that was there.
Oh, good.
That police do anything?
I haven't reported it yet because
How long ago did this happen?
Sunday.
Oh. Okay.
I just haven't had time because you usually have to set some time aside.
Yeah, I know.
But I think for us in the future, I think there just needs to be an easier reporting mechanism. Because when you find something, you end up spending hours
Yeah.
not doing good things, but waiting for the police to respond. I just think we, as volunteers for the town, need a different way to report things.
Yeah.
Do we need to have the police come to one of our meetings again to set something up?
I don't know if that would help, but I just think we need a little more direct pipeline to report things rather than calling dispatch and
Maybe
having them treat you like the guilty party.
Maybe the town could help us with that.
Mm. Well, I mean, if Pete Albert ends up here, then, couldn't he help us figure that out, navigate that?
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe he,
He's wearing his town councilor hat, he can.
yes, yes, but he would have some insight that perhaps he could share with us.
True.
That
Oh,
would be
the new
nice.
counselor.
Yes.
If you forward me some info, I do have a little bit of a dialogue going on right now regarding this other incident. I can forward it directly to the chief.
Okay. I think I sent you the reg
Okay, that's, okay.
So Steve's comment on the Facebook page was he's looking for a time frame or an update on a plan to reroute or reflag the trail for Skyline. That was his comment. No?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, what?
Go ahead and do it.
Go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Do give him a time frame?
No.
Oh,
Have
tell
him
him?
go ahead and reroute it.
So tell him he can go ahead and reroute it?
No,
We just,
No?
Is this?
no.
No?
I don't think we answer to Facebook.
We don't answer to Facebook. All right.
I don't.
Well,
What's-
he tagged me in it, so.
What's his question?
His question, which he tagged me in, which now is, that's an action item for me, is he wanted me to
Easy for
ask
me.
at the meeting tonight for a time frame or an update on a plan to reroute or reflag the trail
Why?
for Skyline.
Why?
Yeah, why? What's the reason?
Because,
The logging took out a big piece of skyline.
Oh,
Oh, that chunk at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's until everything is worked out and done, we're not doing anything, I
all
feel
right,
like.
I will tell him that.
So there's other things going on that impact that, and we would love to have him help, if he'd like to help volunteer when we're ready,
Okay.
to let us know, but
All right. Got anything else?
So, Wildcat Falls, I met with Andrew from the
Mhm.
Wildcat Falls Subcommittee, and the outflow from the retention pond
Okay.
is being dammed in several spots by the beavers. So,
We've been in there a couple times to look at that. Is it really being, are those chewed down stuff, or is it just stuff that's collecting there?
no,
And
it's chewed down, and all of the trees along that access road
they're gone?
are laying over the access road.
no, no.
Because he's going across, the beaver's going across the access road and cutting the trees and then pulling them off across.
I wish I'd have known that earlier, because Mike was in town today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was doing the maintenance today. We could have had him look at that.
Yeah, so they're pretty active in there. And I mean, it's like,
they're very active right now everywhere.
yeah,
I've seen 3 dead beavers in a weekend,
yeah.
Yeah, there
one
was-
in Merrimack and 2 in other
There
places.
was one in South Babusick.
Yeah. There's one on 101A, so it looks like it was coming across, it was right in front of Giorgio's, or down in that area.
There's almost one behind my house.
You don't see it?
He decided to go the other way, which is good. They are very active behind Madison Drive again, and they're demming up a lot of water. And he was angry with me that I was changing the flow.
He slapped his tail at you?
He came at me.
Did he
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. He was like coming right at me. I'm like, oh, he's going away. He's still coming. He's still coming. Oh, okay. Here we go.
He was mad.
Yeah, he was.
I would have paid money to see that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Does he know that you're the beaver
Yeah,
commissioner?
I would have paid money to be in the shore watching it too.
This sounds like a Monty
Yeah,
Python.
Yeah, well,
Just coming to talk to you. See, you're right.
Rabbit.
Yeah.
It's got big teeth.
He was representing the colony. He knew you were the guy in charge.
Well, that's the thing. They're very active right now. I mean, we're having the stump pond was pretty deep. It was flowing very heavily, right over the top, and even then at Greens Pond, they built up around the dam, and it was flowing. That was really tall. I mean, Tom sent out an email to everyone. It was I don't know if anyone went down to check the outflow, but it was flowing hard.
It's flowing. It moved the bridges that
Yeah,
are over that flow.
yeah. So.
I like this map.
All right, so you've got the meetings tomorrow night?
Yes.
said-
Greater Woods meeting is tomorrow night, 6:30 downstairs.
I'm coming back from Concord. I may be a little late. And you don't have another subcom until...
Thursday. I think it's finally getting set up. I know it hasn't been publicly noticed completely yet, but Thursday, 6:30, probably right here, I believe. I'm not sure of the details.
Okay.
So,
It's Thursday. Okay.
All right. No more subcommittees yet? You guys want to do the minutes?
so one
Or-
quick thing. I know I asked you not to bring this up, but I think it's
Okay.
probably worthwhile.
All right.
So the folks who wanted to deal with invasives on Gilmore Hill are looking to do that. I still have some questions to be worked out. I want to make sure that we're following on our own property, not someone else's. They have some questions about whether or not herbicides would be allowed or not. So, but they'd like to have members of the commission participate if we would like to participate. So right now it's looking like at the end of June. So
End of June?
yeah, that they're going to go out and do this. Yeah.
I thought they wanted to do it as soon as spring sprung.
So yeah, all I know is the end of June.
Okay.
So I'll let you all know more information.
The end of June.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, do they have an idea of,
I need to close the loop. I just haven't done it
Okay.
yet. I've been really overwhelmed. I had a whole lot happen this weekend, and life has been very busy. So
because before we go out there, it'd be great to have, you know, if they have, it kind of goes this direction and over here, or whatever they're looking for, because we can at least contact the abutters and say, hey, we're just doing a
right.
passive study and looking and trying to identify, and I can't imagine anyone's going to say no, but.
Well, I'm not sure all the abutters are easily talkable to. I mean, Eversource could be in the butter.
Yeah.
All that too. So
I mean, we can try.
yeah. So.
Okay. We want to move on to minutes? It's getting late. All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes of April 3rd with changes as noted.
Second?
Okay, Gina makes a motion, Cindy second. All right, we got any discussion?
You want to go first, or?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I only found two. Page 2, 38, Mr. Lalibert responded, instead of in, it should be it. It could not stay on the power line right of way. Then on page 6, line 40, they ripped down the no motorized sign and road right past it. It should be, instead of ROAD, it should be RODE.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good catch.
I can't
That's all I
imagine
have.
trying to learn our language.
Pardon me?
I can't imagine being a foreigner and trying to learn our language.
Oh, I can't do that.
No. I think I only had one other one. Page 2, row 28. I think, shouldn't that only have one P in scraped?
Scrap.
We're scrapped.
Scrap. I guess it's scrape.
Scrape the trees.
Some trees that were scraped.
Oh, I just got up with another one. Whoops.
It's probably mine.
I'm sorry. Pardon me?
Probably mine, the one I found. Only
Which one
thing
did
I
you find? Go ahead.
No,
What'd you find?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're still going.
No, I think I'm done.
Okay.
You got the other
Go
one?
Okay, on page 2, line 23, Deborah is Debra Huffman. I just checked Facebook to confirm that.
Well, it's got to be right.
Yeah.
Wow,
I just have,
Where I get all my facts.
she wrote it.
I just have one thing. I swear, on page 7, somewhere, line 25, I guess, I made a correction. I don't have the minutes from the previous meeting, but that there was something saying that we were listing something on our Facebook page, and I said it should have been our website.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And that
Yeah.
correction is not listed in here.
Replace Facebook page with
Isn't that
website.
it?
Yeah.
Isn't that it?
Line 23.
Line 23.
Oh. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, there's that.
If you have a good memory that you remember that you did that.
You got anything? No. No? Okay, so I got one. Page 3, line 10. Her husband. I don't think husband should be capitalized. I had to find something.
Good.
That's the only thing I can find.
Yep.
That should be a small h. All right. All those in favor of the minutes as amended?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 6-0-0.
Gina, did you mean to vote? Did you
Pardon?
want to vote?
I voted.
Okay.
Am I allowed to? Because I wasn't here?
You are allowed to.
Okay.
Not everyone does, so,
I will.
okay.
All right, so to go into non-public session,
Before we do that, can I ask one question?
yes.
Did you, 2 questions. Oh, do we want to wait until we do the commissioner comments, or?
That's
Oh, we don't
not-
have commissioner comments in here. I
Aren't-
suppose we could do those
Nope,
now.
there aren't any.
No. Yeah, we could,
I just had two.
do we need to, I think we can add commissioner comments to this. I don't think that's really an issue. Yeah, so we're gonna add commissioner comments in there, Gina, right at
Okay.
8A.
So go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, I had emailed you about the beaver at Whittier.
Yes,
Who's
I
been
have-
raising a ruckus. You were just gonna add
I-
that to a list of,
Yeah, I have not gotten over there.
okay.
I've
I
not gone over
haven't
to look
heard
at it.
back from her if this beaver is still being a problem, so.
Yeah.
And then, what else? So Christine Lavoie has been emailing me some cool pictures. Do I just send them directly to you to go up?
We have, Tim sent out the links.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dropbox links. so-
Dropbox links?
Dropbox
so-
links,
right.
okay.
And
Yeah, as long as you've reviewed the pictures to make sure, I mean, not that someone's gonna do it, but you never know.
yeah,
That-
look
that-
in the background, make sure
Sure
there's
it's
no
appropriate.
people
so-
doing something weird in the background,
Right,
reflections.
right.
So question 2, because some of them are close up and you can't really tell what the property is. Do we want pictures that are more you can see the property, or like oh my gosh, she's got the cutest one where
Are these private property pictures, or are these?
no, these are
from-
on our properties.
Yeah, so she can just let us know,
Which the
which
thing is.
property it was from.
Yeah. She's leaning down and she's got her snowshoes on and her dog's looking up at her. It's so cute. So she's got a lot with her dogs, but they're very cute. That's okay.
But the pictures
Her
are
dogs.
of wildlife.
They can't be of her dogs.
Prefer not to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to run a cute,
Yeah.
cute
Okay.
puppy.
So you
That's
want
for the dog
wildlife
park.
ones?
Yeah, we're looking more for animal wildlife
Okay.
out in the properties.
Okay. Gotcha. You're looking at me like, jeez, Gina.
No, I said wildlife, and I keep thinking of Matt's Game Cam. That
Yeah.
We're not going for that kind of wild.
yeah, that's not the pictures we wanted.
Okay. Gotcha.
But
Yes, we've had some interesting pictures.
I did watch
Game
that
Cam.
Northwoods
People gone
Wild.
wild.
I will get over to that address and find her.
I know you're busy. That's okay. Gotcha.
All right, so non-public session. We might need to take a little break here because I gotta call them to come back and shut everything down.
Okay.
We want
We should go into non-public.
to go into non-public first, then I'll call.
We'll read this. You go.
Well, so so as part of the right to know, we need to do everything by roll call vote, and that includes going into into non-public.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay,
So,
I shall take minutes, if you want me to.
So I move per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2D, consideration of the acquisition, sale, or lease of real or personal property which, if discussed in public, would likely benefit a party or parties whose interests are adverse to those of the general community, that we enter non-public.
okay, and this is by roll call. So Cindy, how do you vote?
Calling at
Yes.
9:25,
At 9:25, thank you, Gina.
and who's seconding?
Roll call.
Oh,
Matt,
Who's second?
I will.
Matt
Second.
seconding.
Matt. I should just give these to you. I got
What?
this great little cheat sheet.
Oh, you have a cheat sheet.
I do. I just got it sent to me. All right, so
Roll call.
Tim Tenhave, Commissioner Tenhave made the motion. Matt's going to second it, and we'll go by roll call vote. Cindy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Matt, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tim, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gina, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Gage, I vote yes. All right, so we are officially in non-public.
I'm gonna go get Chris.
Yeah, he gave me his number, so I can try calling him.
Phone signal will work quicker than.
Yep. So, yeah, Gina, this is not a non-public, this is, I'll give it to you later.
You know what, what I usually do at home is I go through and I take the